Well, welcome all. I'm waiting for Alex to jump in. Hopefully the audio is good. You guys can give me a audio check, thumbs up, yes, no, good, bad. Uh, we're working in drastically different time zones right now, and we hope that Alex is going to be able to join in. It's I think 6 o'clock his time or something like that. He's about 7 hours ahead. So anyway, jump in there, give me a yay nay on the audio. Let me get rid of the banner down at the bottom there. All right, over to comments. Howdy, howdy. 5 by 5 on the audio. Excellent. Thanks, everybody. So it's been a minute since I've done a live stream. I'm a little rusty trying to get all my stuff laid out here for the equipment and the stream and all the good stuff. Let's see. We have another Alex, Alexandru in there. I'm hoping that Alex, Ride with Alex, is going to be able to jump in here in a minute. I'm waiting to see him pop in the studio. He hasn't shown up yet, so we'll just give the shout outs for everybody that's here. Rez was the first one to leave a comment earlier this morning saying that hopefully he can join us about his time zone over there. So that's good. I decided to do this earlier in the day because of the huge offset in time for Alex and all of his channel members that might want to watch would be awake. Where when I usually do mine at 6 or 8 p.m. here Central Time, everyone's asleep because it's dark on the other side of the world. Spanky's in the house. Howdy, Patrick. Shafiq, I'm going to murder your name. I'm sorry about that. Howdy. Derek's in the house. Jap up. Derek, hey man, thanks for the 20 spot. I appreciate that, sir. Two wheel techs. All these people were in early. Let me get down to the bottom. There's Rez right there. Midnight from his area. Nice. Well, we'll try to get some interesting topics covered quickly here. I'm gonna sandbag and go a little slow until hopefully Alex jumps in, but we'll go over the rough plans of what we're hoping to do for our ride and his itinerary coming into the US and all that. So I'm going to jump down to the bottom and see what I missed. Anybody? Thailand. Greetings from the USA. Almost midnight there. Scott is gardening, enjoying the live stream. Okay, cool. Well, we'll try to keep it interesting. Corny is asking if I'm going to use the PCX. Yes. The same ill-fated 2015 PCX that I ran in 23 is my steed for this year. Hopefully with no more problems. We're going to find out. Des Miller. Hey, Des, how's it going? Dino is in. Dino is running the Cannonball. What are you running on, Dino? It's an ADV 160 or 150? What did you get? Eric Woodward is in. Hey, Eric. Thanks for joining, buddy. All of the longtime channel members and supporters. I have some little running trailers that I'm going to try to put in there just to give shout outs to all of you that have donated to my cause and my adventures and misadventures. Isaac is in. Let's see. Excelsior. It's Kevin. He is in. Midnight Shenanigans. Hey, nice handle. I like it. Atlanta. Awesome. Thanks. Man, driving in your city is about as dangerous as driving in Houston. I don't like Atlanta. Barbarian is in. How's it going, sir? How's it going? Louisa, South Africa. Wow. How's the weather in South Africa? And it's got to be, what, middle of the night there, almost midnight, right? How many miles is the Cannonball in total? Okay. The Cannonball route, we don't have exact specifics on the days yet. We only know the first day's route and exactly how many miles. And then we know the starting and ending points for each day, but they're keeping days 2 through 8 secret until the night right before each ride. So we're estimating the distance at 4,000 miles this year. So I don't think in kilometers, so somebody can do the conversion for me, but it's about 6,000 kilometers, something like that. But we ride to and from the start and end of the event. So it's going to be closer to 8,000 miles for us. So it's quite an adventure. Dino is saying he's on the 24 ADV 160. Sorry to see about your plastics, Dino. In the Discord server, I saw your busted plastic panels. That sucks. Hopefully, it's not too hard to get the new one on there without breaking more tabs. One Eye Willie, perfect timing. Awesome. Cool. Am I going to show the build on it? That's a good question, Isaac. Yes. I was actually planning on doing this in the garage today, but I had a slight mishap on Wednesday. I can't go into details other than my brand new van that was going to be the chase vehicle for Cannonball 25 got totaled. Somebody rear-ended me at a high rate of speed on the highway, and now I'm dealing with a kind of a, you'll notice I'm not turning my head much. Neck, back, shoulder, feeling good right now. So I'm not wrenching on the PCX this weekend. That was the plan. Hopefully with a whole bunch of this ibuprofen and a handful of these, maybe not in that order, I will be wrenching on the PCX in the next couple days. We'll find out. Okay, trying to catch up on comments. That was your question for that. I was doing great. I was back to 99.9% right before I got rear-ended at plus 30. So yeah, dealing with a little whiplash right now. Hopefully that sorts out in short order. 6,437 kilometers plus 3,000 miles and change. So it's roughly 8,000 miles for us. So it'll be over 10,000 kilometers for the whole trip this year. Corny, good question. Let me go back on a couple here. Travis, I see you in there. I'll say hi to you in a sec. They don't allow big scoots in the Cannonball because that would be too easy. It would be cheating. So there's a 300cc limit. That's it. You can ride 300 cc's or lower. And the newer your scooter is, or the bigger the engine it has, the worse your handicapping is, the scoring. So if you want to score well, you ride an older, slower, smaller scoot. That's how that works. Travis Black. How's Kia? Are you both in there? Good to see you guys. Well, virtually see you. You can see me. I can't see you. Wish I could. Alan Antonio's in. Howdy. Iron Butt. Oh, wait. I'll go back to Scott's here. I got a bunch of, I'm running behind on comments already. Iron Butt Rally Riders asked experienced cannonballers. That's a good question. I haven't really been paying attention to the forums that much. How can I say it without being aloof? I'm an Iron Butt hardcore rider. I haven't certified 100th of the rides that I've done Iron Butts. I think they've asked a few questions in the comments and the forum, but they're seasoned riders. They know what they're doing, and I think that may work in their advantage for knowing how to handle, long seat hours, that sort of thing. But they're in for a twist because this is not like doing an Iron Butt. This would be like the I forget, there's an Iron Butt challenge where you've got to do 10,000 miles in 10 days or something like that. That's what the Cannonball is, because we're doing that on small bikes that don't go fast, and we're not on interstate highways hauling ass going 80 miles an hour. We're going 55 on back highways with a lot of stops and traffic and animals crossing the road and gravel and all kinds of stuff. So it's 10 to 12 hours a day minimum, usually in the saddle, again and again and again and again. So you got to do that day after day after day. So it's not like a single Iron Butt ride. You've got to back it up and keep going, or you're out of the points, you're out of the running. So it's a different challenge. It's a different animal. Hey, Ride with Alex just popped in. I'm going to get to a couple of comments, but I'm going to bring the man in. You give me a thumbs up on your side over there, Alex, if you're ready. Otherwise, I'll wait until you. Okay, you're good to go. All right.
Hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I managed to get everything ready quickly because I can do this now and this now.
Oh, excellent. So you got
I got OBS going, so I can share my screen in case we want to show something. I just
let me know when you want to do that. Yeah, let me know when you want to do that, and I'll put you full screen. That way the other stuff isn't in the way.
All right. I just want to go 5 minutes for a quick smoke, and then
do it to it, man. I'll get to a few questions, and then 5 minutes we'll have the man from Romania on here.
All right. You are live now?
We're live.
Oh,
We're
yeah?
live. It was 11 a.m., buddy. You're late.
I know, but I got my Scoot already. I'm gonna
You
download
got it.
while we
All
have
right.
the live stream some of the footage and some of the pictures.
Oh, good
But I
deal.
got it. It's everything. It's completely done.
Awesome. Well, you're way ahead of me. I haven't even started mine. It's still sitting in pieces in my garage. So,
All right. Actually,
no, you can go have your
the-
smoke, relax, whatever.
I have my mic. I can take
I'm
my mic
relaxing as well.
with me, but I don't have any way for the audio. And if I watch the stream, it's gonna be delayed.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm just gonna go 5 minutes and be back. I'll be on the phone.
Okay, no worries. Keep notes of questions that might come your way, and I'll keep them in the comments here. Okay. So back to questions and answers. Sorry. Let's see. Goodies for the Cannonball. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. Neil fabricated some new toys for me and a revised GPS mount. So we're going to see how that plays. I still have a lot of work to do on it. I'm going to put front suspension kit on it. Got to do the valve maintenance, coolant flush, oil change. Those are easy. All the plastics are already off, so that's simple. But just reassembly, and then I'm going to probably do a 700-mile shakedown ride in the next 2 weeks. Neil and Ramnell are going to be going to a race somewhere over in Louisiana. So I might do that. It'll be about 350 each direction. So Derek, yeah, what the F and yo, yeah, damn, I know, I'm a shit magnet. I have no idea what's going on with the vehicles and this city. I mean, it's amazing that you can get from point A to point B or Z or whatever in the city without being in an accident these days. It's crazy. Everyone drives so fast, so angry, so furious, so aggressive, 24/7, and it never stops. And I was in one of the two worst corridors in the city when this incident happened. I'll go into it later, but yeah, anyway, guys shagging lanes 70 plus miles an hour coming up on slower traffic. I'm slowing down and he didn't see that I'm slowing down and just comes in and center punches the back of the van at 70 miles an hour. Thank you for the headache in more ways than one. Now I got to deal with insurance. Yeah. Food of the gods. Yes. I don't think these two are supposed to mix, but yeah, at least it's not narcotic. I don't think it'll have any serious ill effects. Okay, trying to catch up. 11:09. I'm 10 minutes behind almost. I'm a magnet for bad drivers. Eric, you've got that right. I am a shit magnet for the last 2+ years. We thought the threes, the curse of the threes. I got the 3 out of the way, so I hope that was it. No. Now, I hope that doesn't mean I'm starting another string of 3s. That's going to suck. Nathan, you got it right, buddy. Houston is hazardous to everybody's health, not just mine. Dino, good to see you, by the way, Nathan. I'm going to do the Smoky Mountain Boar before Cannonball. No, I won't be able to squeeze that. Everything is way too tight. Although I would be kind of halfway up there. I'm going to be over in northern Louisiana. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not. I've got to do a lot of packing. Isaac's been wrenching on the Transalp. Cool. What are you doing to it, Isaac? What do we got? Alex showed up, trying to catch up. Everybody saying howdy to Alex. Dr. Dread. Get lots of belts. You got that right, Courtney. I've already got 3, and I'll be running a factory variator this time and factory torque drive in the back. So hopefully no problems. I will be taking some spares. I'll be taking a brand new spare CVT, whole front to back, everything, plus 3 belts. I'm starting off on a fresh one, so hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully. Did I say hopefully yet? NL, Netherlands. Nice. Looking forward to Cannonball streams. I'm hoping that I can do a lot of real live streams during the event this year. I've got a Starlink Mini and a handful of streaming gear and my old cameras, and I'll find a way to patch it all together. But connectivity has always been the hard part, because we'll end up at a lot of these hotels that have marginal connectivity. And then when we're moto camping, out, the state parks, not necessarily at the hotels, there's not necessarily any kind of coverage. So that's been the problem, is connectivity for data. And now with Starlink, all I have to do is look up at the sky and hopefully that'll work. We'll see. Murphy hates me. Yes. Where did that go? Yeah. Isaac, you got it. Murphy is an asshole, and he is dominating my universe. Yeah. Tailgating. Yeah, exactly. And again, I'll go into the accident later, but basically, I'm slowing down because traffic is piling up on a merge exit ramp from 45 to 610. I'm minding my business. I've even got GPS tracks on it. I'm going like 50 miles an hour, and I'm slowing because somebody's doing something stupid right in front of me, and then somebody center punches me from behind without ever hitting the brakes. Good fun. Oh, hey, Derek, thanks for the 50 spot, buddy. You are awesome. That's going to go for at least another case of these. The armpit of Texas. Yeah, I'd say the crotch, stinky crotch. Well, no, the stinky crotch would be Pasadena. That's stinky over there. Neil is riding the same bike and same trailer and everything. He's done a few upgrades. The Yamaha S-Max 155, I believe it's 2016 model. Saddlebags. Okay, so Isaac's doing saddlebags. Cool. Trying to get to the rest of the questions here before Alex sits down, and I'm going to turn the reins over to him. A personal chauffeur, yeah, in some kind of an APV with active armor on it. Somebody gets too close, they just get immediately nuked and disabled. That would be fantastic for this traffic. What do we got? Catching up. Keith, yeah, another accident. Yeah, Houston is it's awful. You should see the insurance rates here in Houston. They're off the charts because the accidents are just so prevalent. Every day, pileups all over the place, rear end job. It's usually rear end accidents, which is what's happened to me the last 3 times. The 23 Cannonball vids taught you everything you need to know about CTs. Not everything, hopefully, because learning from my mistakes is not necessarily the most expedient way to knowledge. No, Dr. Pulley. Yes, you got that right, Courtney. I'm definitely doing OEM everything. I probably will do the Dr. Pulley sliders because those are low risk item, and if they misbehave, you just swap out the rollers. It's not big rotating masses. So, yeah, you gotta. Lazy Diabetic says he's late to the show. Taking PCX. Yes, PCX. Yes, that's the one. Mileage on the PCX right now is about 16,000, something like that. 16, 17. Superbike. Yeah, that's about right. 1,500 a month. Even for my, I'm a good driver minus the last 3 accidents that I couldn't avoid because somebody hits me from behind. But full coverage insurance on just the new Pilot that I got is $400 a month or something like that through Geico. It's insane. Derek, you got to run, buddy. Sorry. The stream will be up later if you want to watch and see what Alex has to say. I'm going to turn it over to him in just a sec. All right. So let's bring Alex back into the fray here. I'm going to drop the backgrounds. We'll just go black screen. There we go.
Yep. I'm back.
All right.
And got myself getting ready.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, buddy. America. Well, it's not even American anymore. It's some German company that owns all that.
Oh yeah. It's still Bud. I do have 2 of Cletus from the Cletus McFarland YouTube channel, 2 old T-shirts that say "America" on the back. MURICA. Exactly.
Hell yeah.
They're like from the top to the bottom. It just says like this, "America."
Nice.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna bring them with me, but I might get my ass kicked before somebody might think I'm mocking the country.
All right. Get over here, see if I'm missing comments.
I need to find a way to see.
America, hell yeah. Derek, he's 5 blocks away. Nice. See you later, Derek. I hope you tune in again, or we'll catch up with you soon. Oh my God. Yeah, Richard, I don't know. God. I mean, I had it all lined out, and I was sending notes to Alex just the other day, saying I didn't have buyer's remorse, but I had new vehicle owner's anxiety about running the brand new 25 Honda Odyssey on the Cannonball because I was afraid it was going to get torn up. So I actually was coming back from looking at a little shit beater van, just some kind of small, half used up little, was it a Mazda 5 that only had 70,000 miles on it. And I thought, okay, that'll be great. Just a cheap tear it up van, not intentionally tear it up, but it's going to happen. So I went and looked at that thing up on I-45 here in Houston. It was a piece of crap. It was misrepresented. It was awful. It was falling apart, had all kinds of problems. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. I'll just keep looking. Literally on the way out of that dealership, not even 4 miles down the highway, is when the new Odyssey got totaled. Like, I can't win for losing here, man. It's just anyway. Yeah, I'm going to that later. Camera adds 5 inches. Not in the right spot. Not in the right spot.
Definitely not in the right spot.
There's a question for you, Alex. Can we get a running cannonball in Romania?
We do have something that's going to be on the 7th of June, organized by another YouTuber here who's kind of an adventurer. Let me see if I can pull up the site. Marathon 1000.
Good question. Yes, wilcer is supposed to be joining us on the trip. You sent me a note on that, right, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay. Crank Hustle. He's trying to find us somewhere.
I think he said at the Grand Canyon. So he should be arriving a day before us at the Grand Canyon. He wants to spend the day around the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
And then when we get there in the evening, we'll hook up with him. And then he wants to ride the route I made from the Grand Canyon up to Seaside.
Okay, cool.
He said that I hit a lot of spots that he's always wanted to see, and the route is awesome, and it seems like an awesome pre-Cannonball route.
Cool.
All right, so if you can put my screen.
No, I don't speak Kanukistan languages, Mr. Simple. That's Scooter Chef right there. Scooter Chef.
So this is the event here.
Let me make you full screen here, sir. You get center stage.
So 7th of June, Marathon 1000. This is the map of Romania. If I can get it on the screen properly. I have a bigger screen than 1080. So this is the map of Romania, and it's starting up here in the northwest in Satu Mare, and it's ending right here at the finish line in Mangalia, where actually the video that I posted today, I went there. And it's only for 125cc scooters, and it's all going to be 1,000 kilometers in 24 hours. So that's 600 miles, 610 miles in 24 hours.
Awesome.
This is all in Romanian. You just enter and you pay something. The entry fee is like $60, something like that.
That's cool. So how do they handle are there safety logistics, rider support, anything like that? Or is it just run what you bring? Good luck.
This person, I can bring up his YouTube channels, maybe give him a shout out. Just a second. All right. So this is the YouTube channel, Bertic Attila. He has taken like Dacia's, let's see in the playlist. He's been to Ukraine. This is his adventure on a scooter doing the round. He has an ADX 125 from us, from Sim.
Cool.
He has been to Siberia with a Dacia Logan, which is basically an inexpensive Romanian shitbox. He does all kinds of wacky adventures. These are the playlists, and he also rides bikes and drives. He's a bit of an adventurer.
Cool.
So yeah, one of his sponsors, he knows somebody, is working for Lagermax, which is a big logistical company here in Europe. And they have agreed to put a truck available, like a van, a big van, that will follow the entire route and pick up people that maybe break down on the way.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a grassroots event. He kind of got the idea from his trip from he lives in Satu Mare, so when he got the ADX, he kind of got a challenge. I'll just ride it to the coast. It's 1,000 kilometers away. Let's see if I can ride it in a single day, because as anywhere in the world except for Asia, if you tell any motorcycle rider you have a 125, he basically thinks you can only go to the shops and back, and anything else is
right
too extreme.
Yeah, they're not road worthy.
Exactly. And he has a lot of friends like that, and he also traveled a lot on big bikes. And he was like, you know what, he's seen my videos, he knows what I do with mine, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. Let's see how bad can it be. Plus, I told him when he bought the ADX 125 is not a city scooter. It's a ready prepped Cannonball machine from the factory.
Nice.
Even when I rode it to Greece, the variator on that thing, it can hit upwards of 80 miles an hour without hitting the rev limiter on the stock variator, going downhill because it only has 12 horsepower. But on the road, you're not limited by RPM or variator. You're limited just by engine power.
Right.
It can go much faster than the power it has is capable
drag
of.
limited, not gear limited or rev limited. Yeah.
Yeah. And since I work like in the parts, I looked at the variator, the actual size, the diameter of the variator on my Symphony ST200, and the actual size of the variator of the ADX. The ADX is about half an inch to an inch in diameter larger, physically larger, bigger in diameter. So, and also the belt is a lot thicker and much more heavy duty than any.
So it's overbuilt.
Yeah, the transmission is completely overbuilt. It looks more like a transmission of a 250cc. And yeah, you ride it for 400 or 500 miles, and the thing doesn't miss a beat. It doesn't overheat. At full throttle, it stays at 7,000 RPM. Redline is at 10,000. So going like 60, 65, it's you still have over 2,000 RPM until redline.
Yeah, and there's a couple questions popping in. Sorry to interrupt. There's a couple questions popping in on the PCX about engine and driveline longevity. No, I've not done. Yeah, I've not done any compression tests on it, but I'm sure it's just fine. It doesn't use a drop of oil. It's real strong engine still. Most of those Hondas are pretty understressed, so they tend to last quite a few thousand miles. And then Sonics commented back, it should run 60,000 miles. Yeah, in Europe, the PCX 125s, they don't get the 150s over there in most of the area, but those things are known for going 100,000 miles. They're insanely reliable. So hopefully mine does that well.
The main thing is regular oil changes with these things. Yeah. They have a lot. They have a low amount of oil in them, and regular oil changes is what helps them live. Even my engine looked okay inside when I opened it. The only thing I had was one valve seal was leaking, so that's why it was eating a lot of oil. It wasn't the piston rings.
Gotcha.
And one of the crankshaft bearings was making noise. Now, when we got it out, it had no play. It was perfectly fine. Probably could have done the entire Cannonball with it just whirling away in there.
Yeah. But you don't want it chewing itself up, because then that's going to be, a cascading failure if it starts shedding material. So,
yeah, but it was okay. And everything else in the engine, the piston, the cylinder, I mean, the timing chain, I only changed all of that because since I work at Sim and I can get the parts for a very hefty discount, and I already had the complete engine apart, I was like, why not rebuild it completely?
Right.
Just to be sure, because I have a lot invested in getting it to America, and having the engine fail like on the second or third day is
that'd suck. Absolutely.
Because I don't know, like we missed something, like one of the the timing chain or the timing chain slider, those plastic things.
Yeah,
Maybe we
guide.
didn't see a crack in one of the guides. Maybe we didn't see a crack in it. No point for the how much the parts cost. I mean,
It's so
I
cheap, you're already in there. Just do it. Yeah.
I think all the parts that I got cost me like $200,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
full retail price would have been like $300.
Yeah.
So
650 is saying Honda is going to make a 175 PCX this year. That's awesome. I've been
I
waiting for like a 200. That would be great. I haven't heard about that. So if
I
anybody's got
think
info,
I think they should, because I'm seeing Sim in some markets, not in Europe,
they're moving up to
releasing
200.
releasing the ADX 125 with a 175cc engine
Right.
with
Right.
18 horsepower.
Right. Yeah.
And
The PCX is a 14 and a half horsepower, something like that, at a 150.
yeah,
And I don't know what the 160s are, but the 160s have not been all that reliable, in my opinion. They've had quite a few issues already. And that 4-valve head, they're much thirstier on fuel, like 40% thirstier. It's crazy
really?
because mine can get 110 miles to the gallon at 65 miles an hour, and the 160s, whether it's the ADV or the PCX, they're down in the low 70s, high 70s. That's huge. I mean, we're talking
That's kind of
40
the
mile per gallon difference. So
fuel economy I'm getting, and it's an air cooled
yeah,
engine,
yeah,
which are
wide
known
open.
for
Yeah, right.
which are known for drinking more fuel.
I'll catch up on a couple of comments here just so people don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm not, I promise. Dino just chimed in on that, saying he gets 80 miles to the gallon. So yeah, that's crazy, Dino, because at the same speeds, we could run them side by side, and we might during the Cannonball this year. I'll be getting over 100 miles to the gallon, somewhere between 100 and 105 at the same speeds. It's insane how much difference there is.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
and one of my subscribers pointed out that I should specify that Marathon 1000 is only on back roads.
yes, I saw that comment right there.
Yeah.
1,000-kilometer challenge is back roads only, no motorways. That's
Yeah.
good. That's very
And the
good,
back roads
because
here,
you don't have to worry about cagers and big lorries and stuff like that rolling over you. Hopefully.
maybe next year we can do a trip here, because I'll
That would
have
be
the
great.
AX125 and I'll have my ST. So we have two scoots that are very equally matched on the road. And you're gonna
Yeah.
see what back roads here mean. You can barely maintain 30 to 40 miles an hour. You're either
Oh,
in a village,
you're gonna find some of that here.
you're either in a village or in
Uh-huh.
the mountains, and the roads are just switchbacks.
Yeah. So here we don't have the drastic switchbacks like they do in a lot of Europe. There are some areas in the Appalachians and even in the Rockies where you can get into really tight switchbacks and things like that. But the scale of the roadways here is much longer, larger, so they tend to spread out those curves a little bit more. So you don't find as many rapid switchbacks like in the Swiss Alps, where it's just literally a zigzag, going all the way down the mountain. We'll have really crazy inclines, really crazy declines, and a lot of fast sweeping corners, but not tons and tons of the switchbacks. But that's on the main highways. On the little rural highways, the side roads, the back roads, gravel, stuff like that, we're going to have plenty of that this Cannonball. I think we're going to have over 300 miles of gravel this time. So that'll be fun.
We'll see how the gravel goes.
I don't like gravel on that PCX, but now Neil cut my linked braking, the CBS. He literally cut it, just took a hacksaw in there and chopped out the secondary master cylinder that slaves into that front brake, and then just capped it off. I was going to do it. He did it for me. Awesome.
Yeah,
CBS without ABS is a bad idea.
I saw that when you fell on the 23 Cannonball. I kept going back to the video, and I was like, why the hell did he fall? He wasn't going all that fast. The turn wasn't
No.
all that tight.
And I slow-moed it. I had the 360 camera, and I slow-moed it to replay it even for myself, because I remember, I'm an avid off-road rider. I know you don't use the front brake on loose surfaces. I preloaded the front brake, but I didn't squeeze in on it. I just took the slack out of the lever and left it sitting there, and I was in the rear brake. But as soon as you get in the rear brake, it applies 30% on that front caliper, and you don't have a choice about it. And I hit the gravel, and that was it.
Yeah, and when you said in one of your latest videos about the PCX, about Neil taking out the CBS, I was like, wait a minute. And I went back to the video and I watched the slow-mo part, and I could see the left hand just squeezing that brake. And knowing you have CBS, I was like, no.
And you don't have any choice about
Yes, I
not
know.
using the front, and that's the issue. If it had ABS, it would be okay because it would manage the lockup. But once that front wheel starts to lock, you're screwed. That's it.
And I think you have to thank Europe for the CBS. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
mandatory there.
yeah, it's mandatory here. You've either
Oh,
got to
it's
have
mandatory.
ABS or combined brakes on
Same as
motorcycles.
here. Yes, same as here. And we do have a
Well, not
couple
all
of.
of them, I guess. Yeah, not all of them have it, but it's a insurance rating. It's a classification or category thing for the manufacturer. So the little bikes like the Navi, they have combined drum brakes. And then some
with
of
the
the others
4
will have
cables
ABS
and
on the front. Right. They'll have ABS on the front, but no ABS on the rear. And that's okay. But there's got to be either ABS or CBS.
yeah, and we also have a couple of sims here in Romania that we sell that are cheaper models that don't have ABS and are mandated to have CBS.
Yeah.
And I just don't like it. Doing the test rides around the yard to get them for the pre-delivery inspection. Sometimes I do the test rides around the yard, and we do have a lot of gravel, loose surface in the yard. And every time I squeeze that rear brake and I feel applying force to the front, and I know I'm on loose gravel, I was like, shit. How do I slow it down?
How do you slow down? Yeah. And you know, that incident that I had in 23, that down was mostly my fatigue, my rider fatigue. I went into that a little too hot. It was downhill. The grade didn't really show very well on the video, but it was a downhill grade. And I was idling out, but still maintaining speed down into that little creek bed. And I had to shed speed. And when I saw the bend coming up, I was like, okay, I'm going to miss these big holes over here. And now I need to shed some speed. And right then is when I transitioned to concrete. And I was like, oh shit, this is going to be bad. So, oh well.
I'm a bit happy
You
with
go
my
off road with a scooter with street tires, you're taking your chances. I don't consider that an accident. That's an off. It's just good luck.
yeah. I'm pretty confident in mine. It has front and rear ABS. The brakes are not linked, so I can get into the brakes pretty hard.
Yeah. Dr. Dread's asking, how hard is it to get rid of the CBS? So with the PCX, it has a drum rear brake, but off of the rear brake cable on the left handlebar, it went into a proportioning block, and that proportioning block had a master cylinder that converts over hydraulic pressure and feeds a third cylinder in the front brake caliper. So the front brake caliper has 3 pots. 2 are for the main front brake circuit, and then the middle one, the third one, is for the rear brake circuit. So when you're pulling on that cable, it goes through to the proportioning block, activates the master cylinder, and then there's a slave cable that comes off of that and goes to the regular cabled brake in the back. So anyway, in order to delete that, you've got to get a different brake cable that just goes all the way straight back, and then you've got to cap off or delete that third slave cylinder that's up there in the front caliper. So that's what Neil did. He just chopped that whole thing out of there and then put a bleeder valve that was welded up on top of the on top of the nipple, and shoved that in there, pulled the that little third piston all the way out, drained it, and capped it off. Done. So it's not necessarily a simple process, but it can be done. On a drum brake bike, you have to back out all of the brake adjuster nuts for the combined portion, and then you don't even have to mess with anything else. It still feels squishy because you got all that extra linkage and stuff going on, but they're not activating when you don't want them to. That's what I did to the Navi because I don't like CBS. It bothers me.
Yeah, if you look on my screen, what
do you got there?
We have a little scooter here, the Daytona Flirt, which basically is a copycat of the Honda systems. And let's see if we can zoom in. It doesn't want to. Full screen.
There we go.
You have like the main brake line coming from the right hand lever, and then it's because this also has a drum on the back, this scooter, and then you have a second one going in, so showing a bit what you're explaining.
That's almost identical to the PCX's caliper.
Yeah, it's a copy of a Honda. Also the engine is a 110. It's a copy of the engine you have in your Navi.
Oh,
The only
cool.
difference is that it's fuel injected.
Yeah, so that would be essentially the Activa
Yeah,
110 or 125i. Yeah.
yeah. So basically, you can pull this out, but you have to block it somehow so you don't
Right.
have brake fluid leaking for everybody not understanding. It's not simple, but it's also not complicated.
Yeah, it's not terribly complicated. You just have to have the right tools and be willing to hack around at your bike a little bit.
Yeah.
For the drum brakes, it's easy. You just back out the brake adjusters. Pardon me while I
Yeah,
crack another
I
beer
saw
here.
the thing with the drum brake. It's the drum brakes on the Navi. We also have an older model here in Romania that was the Honda Dio. It's a little scooter that had the same system with front and rear drum brakes. And
Right.
looking at all those cables going, I was like, there has to
Oh, and
be a
that
simpler
proportioning
way
block
to
that's
do
in the
it.
middle. Yeah, below the tank, there's this weird proportioning block, and it's not really adjustable or anything. It just takes in the rear brake that you can't use because they've got it set just as a parking brake on the left handlebar. That goes down into the brake block that also feeds in from the right foot lever. And then out of that goes to the rear brake line, the cable that goes to the drum. It's a very strange setup. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's
manufacturers.
grab a couple of questions here. Captain Nick says he took that ABS relay out. Yeah. If I don't know what bike you have, Cap, but depending on how the ABS is set up, hopefully it's just the rear ABS. Front's always good to have, even off road. I've had it save my butt a few times. So that was the comment there. Yeah, ABS or CBS are not mandatory for the smallest ones. The ST50 doesn't have anything. Yeah, that's probably true. And I think even here in the
Uh,
States, that's probably true.
yeah, in
Um,
Europe, 50 cc's are not mandated to have
yeah,
either
if you're
ABS or
under a
CBS.
certain displacement or speed, then it doesn't, it's not mandated.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Will there be a cannonball that'll allow more than 300cc? Here, for the Scooter Cannonball, anyone can ride anything they want. They just can't compete if they're on larger than 300cc. So if you want to go in the tourist class or in support capacity or something like that, sure, follow along. We have people following us on big BMW GS 1200s. So they're
Uh,
cheating, but that's okay. They can follow.
Honestly, like even the scooter that I have, the big Zontes with the 40 horsepower engine and the 350, you're kind of missing the point of the Cannonball on that thing.
Yeah, it's about small bore. It's about minimalism and challenging yourself both on the fuel logistics and the endurance for your ass, because
Yeah.
it is a real challenge to sit on those seats for 12 hours a day for 8 or 10 days in a row. I mean, it's a different kind of event. It's not a traditional cannonball where you're trying to blast and go as fast as you can across the country or, make it from point A to point B. These are more like time, speed, distance rallies. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I
that's a
mean,
question for you, Alex. Do you think you can win this?
I'm not. No, first of all, I do have this disadvantage of the handicap because my scooter, being air cooled, produces as much power as a 125. It only has 12 horsepower, but
Right.
it's 169 cc.
Okay.
So
So
it
you're
gets
getting the double whammy. You've got less power, less speed, and more displacement. Yeah.
exactly.
What year is
Uh,
Donnie?
2021. He's 4 years
21.
old
Okay.
now
So
and
it's pretty
has
new.
about 32,000 miles on the clock at the
Gotcha.
moment. And yeah, about the big scooters, like I did the Cannonball to Greece when in the September when I went to test ride the ADXTG, and the zone test, it's almost 800 miles to Athens from Bucharest. I did that in 13 hours without breaking a sweat, mainly on highway, but the thing
Yeah.
just cruised at
Yeah.
90, 85, 90 all day long, no issues. When I wasn't on a highway, I had a truck in front of me, no problem. Slow down to 55 because trucks are limited here. Look for an opening, open the throttle, and just blast past him.
Yeah.
You're kind of missing the point out of three on something like a 3, 400, 500cc
Yeah,
scooter.
yeah. Small bore rallies and long distance rides are a different mindset. It's more about taking in the scenery and logistics planning as far as your fuel
Yeah.
stops, your autonomy, your distance that you can make, because they don't have huge fuel tanks, and you're going to be stopping and feeding that thing where you wouldn't normally be stopping to feed another bike. So yeah, it's different. And someone's asking if you might ever own the 368G.
Honestly, no, probably not.
No.
It's a great scooter. It's the Zontes one that's the off-road model. I don't know if you've seen my comparison video or my video with it, but I am getting the ADX 125 for light off-road and touring and stuff like that. The only reason I got the Zontes, the 350, was because I do have the GS, the 1100 GS, but I wanted something supremely comfortable that I could just hop on, ride for 4 or 5 hours and cover like 200-300 miles, get to an event, film a couple of videos, get back on it, ride back home. And that's why I used it for the trip to Athens. I had to one day get there, second day film and test the new TG, third day come back.
Yeah.
And for that, the GS is nice, but it's a big bike. It gets tiring after a couple of hours. A big maxi scooter is perfect for that. It's just as comfortable.
Yeah,
as
they're different animals. Yeah,
you have
tools.
you have the Silverwing 600.
Yeah,
that thing, you can ride it 16 hours on the highway, cover well over 1,000 miles, and
easily, yeah,
and be perfectly
because
relaxed.
it'll run 90 or 100 miles an hour all day long without breaking a sweat. Kevin Excelsior is asking, any place along the Cannonball that you look forward to seeing the most? I guess that could be broken down into two questions: pre-Cannonball or during Cannonball.
During Cannonball, I don't know the route.
Yeah,
so
well, we know the stopping points, but we don't know what's necessarily on the route. That's right.
Yeah. Pre-Cannonball, considering I made the route, I'm looking forward to all of them. So,
Captain Nick, sorry to interrupt. Cap, were you you were on the Z125 in 23? Was that your Z125 that blew up and then you followed along on the Tenere? I remember you. That's funny. Okay, so yeah, sorry. Back
Z25 blew up.
Yeah, he had there was a rider, if it's the same guy. He had there he is. Yeah, it's him. He was on a Z125 and it gave up on like day 3, I think, day 2 or 3. I was having trouble that day too, so I couldn't keep track of what was happening around me. But that's the first day that my PCX variator took a shit. It wasn't the first failure, but it was when it totally died. The bearing, the bushing in the center of that Dr. Pulley was done.
We're gonna give Dr. Pulley one more chance with my.
Yeah, you're running Dr. Pulley. I'm considering it, but I'm definitely taking OEM with me. So
honestly, I'm running Dr. Pulley just to keep up with the stock PCX.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be running all that fast and hard, so you don't have to worry about me.
Yeah, but
I'll run at whatever your comfortable cruising speed is, which is probably 50 to 55.
55 to maybe 60, depending. That's on flat ground with no wind. So
yeah,
I've seen a couple of videos from the States. Some places around there have some serious wind.
Oh yeah, we'll be getting into 40 plus mile an hour winds, I'm sure. That's pretty common out there in the open plains and the mountains. Yeah. We were getting hit by lateral 50 plus mile an hour winds that tried to take us off the road several times. We'd come up over a rise and just blam, broke gust 60 miles an hour, and we just catch it before we went off the pavement.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting there. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm going to be running the city grips. What are you running on yours, Alex?
Let me see.
You bought them already, right?
They're already mounted.
Okay.
Let me see. How can I show you? Does it open? Yeah. I don't know how to mute. There it is. Let's mute this. What do you think I'm running?
They look like city grips to me, man. CG2s. I know that tread pattern.
City grip 2.
CG2s.
Yeah, cleaning the. This is part of. This is Sorin balancing the. First time I've actually balanced my wheels.
Normally, you don't need to do a lot with Michelins. I've found that they're pretty well balanced, but they're scooter tires have left a bit to be desired on balancing.
Well,
Uh,
mine needed on the front 35
yeah,
grams,
right.
and that's a lot.
Motorcycle
But
tires are a lot closer to true than the scooter tires. I've noticed. I guess it's just the casts that they're using, the forms, whatever.
I'm not blaming Michelin just yet, but my front rim has over 30,000 miles, and it has seen a lot of off road, and it has seen a lot of serious impacts that I'm
Is it out?
just
Yeah, is it out of true or out of round anywhere? When you
probably.
spin it, do you notice any bumping or lumping or anything?
No, now that it's balanced, I actually got rid of all the head shake.
Okay, good. Yeah,
My
yeah.
crazy
Tire
head shake
tread.
that, yeah,
Yeah, I remember you'd go hands off and it's whoa.
yeah. And my neck, I still haven't changed my neck bearings. So
Okay.
they're still old and worn, and they do have, like, when you put them in the middle, you can feel them catching a
A
little bit,
notch. Yeah,
the
yeah.
notch. Uh,
Mine are still smooth, but I need to do my front forks, so I'm probably going to pull the neck and re-grease it while I've got it apart.
yeah. Sorin, I asked Sorin about. I will have the full kit of front neck bearings with me because they are the OEM neck bearings that came with the scooter. Never changed them. But Sorin did tell me if they're good. He checked the notch. He said this notch is fine. Let's
Yeah,
not mess with them. They've
yeah,
lasted 30,000
right,
miles, 50,000
right.
kilometers. Let's not mess with them. Leave them there.
Robbie's joining in. Hey, Robbie, thanks again for your help in 23, man. You were awesome. Went above and beyond. You and Dino and everybody that contributed to my poor preparation. So he's running city grips. What are you riding this year, Robbie? Are you doing a PCX? Because I thought you got rid of your PCX.
Hmm.
I still have the Rebel 1100. It's I'm riding it occasionally, not as much as I did at first because my shoulder was messed up for a while, and I started feeling better, and I was riding it more, and now I'm dealing with whiplash from the accident on Wednesday. Getting tired of getting my balls stomped. I'll tell you that.
The question from Sonics about the rubber valve stems.
Rubber valve stems. I see that
Yes, I know I have the TPMS sensors on the outside and they pull on the valve stems.
they pull down centrifugal force. Yep.
Yeah, the sensors have been there for close to 5,000 miles and there's no wear and tear on the stems, on the valve stems. So, once again, I'm not going to mess with it. They work, they work. Run them as is.
Robbie's riding the ADV 160. Nice. It should be good. Um, it seems like all the ADV 150s, 160s were going through belts in 23. So make sure you bring a couple of spares.
I'm going to try the theory of the belts because I'm surprised with how many belts you guys are chewing on the Cannonball.
It's high heat, high speeds. It just kills them. Yes, this is being recorded. You'll be able to watch it later and go back. And
Yeah.
I'm editing the full files. We might be able to chop it up and give a more concise
Now,
replay of it later.
about the belts being high speed and high temperature, when I did my trip to Turkey, I had one fresh belt in. I left with a fresh belt, 4,000 miles, including on the return trip an iron butt.
Mm-hmm.
Then I rode the scooter around as a daily commuter for 3-4 months. Then I went to Milan, another 3,000 miles, also highway, also done in a day and a half, about 600, 700 kilometers on the first day and the rest on the second, and the same coming back. And I changed the belt at exactly the service interval, which is about 8,000 miles. So with the Turkey trip, riding around the city, and then the Milan trip, I reached exactly the service interval. And the belt looked just the same as the previous belt that I had just ridden around
What
the city.
what were your ambient temperatures though? That makes a big difference
Pretty
in these
chilly.
at high
Yeah,
speed.
it
Yeah.
wasn't
See, there you
hot.
go. There you go. We're running this stuff. I mean, last year, 23, for example, it was hovering around 100 degrees most of the event. Now we were hotter and cooler, but you could figure 100 degrees Fahrenheit for an average daytime temperature on the highway. Now in the Mojave Desert, where mine ate itself the first time, it was 116 degrees, 118 degrees in the shade. The heat coming off the pavement was over 130. So the ambient temperatures being so high and me running 70 plus miles an hour definitely shortened that belt's life. And I thought about it right before the belt snapped. I was like, man, I better take it easy. I don't want to change a belt out here in the middle of nowhere. And I mean, not even 2 minutes later, bam, shit. So
I guess I'm changing a belt.
yeah. I shouldn't have thought it into existence. I
Yeah.
jinxed myself.
I'm curious to see. I never had a problem with mine with belts. I've never broken a single belt on the scooter.
Right.
On all my trips, I've never broken a single belt. But
I've lost, let's see, outside of Cannonball, I've lost 2. But they were older belts, not with a lot of miles, but they were older. So the rubber was a little bit brittle, and I lost them, just rolling along on country roads at 50 or 60 miles an hour. But yeah, Cannonball, I went through 3 belts.
Then,
Yeah, Nick was saying 115 at Joshua Tree. Yeah. And in the Mojave, it was hotter than that, baby. Let me tell you, woohoo! Out there in that low basin where you drop down real low. And it was right after that section in my video that I said, can you imagine getting stuck out here, the desperation? And it was so hot. The winds were blowing from the right side of the road. I don't even know. I guess that would have been south. And it was so hot, it felt like you had a heat gun or a hair dryer right here on your face. It was 130, 140 degrees blowing off of that hot sand. And it was literally like not even 5 miles after that mine just game over. God.
we'll see. I plan to do a belt change in Seaside. So I've put a fresh belt now. And I plan to do a belt change in Seaside. We can go to Legion Moto in Portland and use their tools and everything and do a full service on the bikes.
Yeah. With a signpost, I can't remember which signpost I was close to. All I remember, Nick, is where I broke down. It's on the video, but where I broke down was before the train siding rails over on the north side of the highway or the left side of the highway. There were like rail cars and stuff parked way off the side of the road. That was kind of the section where I broke down. Yeah, I mean, smack dab in the middle of the Mojave. Woo! It was hot. It was hot.
One question I wanted to answer about from Zanglang about how much the city grips will last. It depends on your scooter. I've seen like the diameter of the tire, the bigger the wheels are, like going up to 16s, they will last a long time.
Yeah, you've got more
12-inch
rubber.
scooters, not so much. Right
Another
now,
big factor. Sorry to interrupt. Another big factor is the width of the tire and the contact patch. So the 21 Cannonball, for example, when I was running the Michelin Pilot Street 2s on the Super Cub, the rear tire is only 80 millimeters wide on that thing. We had a lot of weight on the scooter and we're going straight line forever. So that contact patch is about not even a half an inch wide. So that strip of rubber is just getting worn down, worn down, worn down. So we would be down to the cords in the middle of the tire and the sides. It still looked new. So it depends on the width of your.
I was surprised with the Cubs how much tire they ate.
Oh my God, we were getting barely 3,000 miles out of those things. I couldn't believe it.
Like for such a light machine with 17-inch wheels, I was expecting like the tires to last.
I was expecting 8 or 10,000 miles. Right. We were bald tires before we even got up to Maine, 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
I mean, on my ST, I know the rear tire is good for 20,000 miles or 30,000 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
And the front tire, I changed it now. It had 44,000 kilometers. I don't know what's that in miles. Let me just check.
It was before 29 palms, Cap. I'd have to look.
So the front one has 27,500 miles and still has about 30% tread left.
Yeah. The front tire on all of my bikes, even the Super Cub, is still wearing the same front tire from before I did Cannonball, and it's got 18,000 miles on it and still looks and rides new. The rears did not make it so far.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, Roy, thanks for the 10 spot. Thanks, buddy.
I think it was all the weight and the trailer and everything pushing down on that rear tire.
Yeah, and we had them loaded pretty heavy, and the trailer You figure it's got 2 axles, so you're gonna whatever the total gross weight of the trailer is, you're gonna half that or roughly half that between the 2 axles. So that means we were putting an additional 35 or 40 pounds worth of weight on this on the Cub's rear axle. So yeah, I mean it made it wear out faster.
And the answer, I know he has a Forza 125 for Zaglang. I'm expecting you should be able to get 25,000 kilometers out of the front and maybe 20 out of the rear in kilometers.
Cool.
The Forza is a bit heavier than my ST.
Yeah.
We both have 14-inch rear wheels, but the Forza is a little bit heavier, even though it's
You have a UFO
125.
happening behind you. Your light just turned red behind you.
Oh yeah, it's the ambient lights. I have
Look like Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
in my living room. I have
Ready to get
ambient lights and one there, and they turn on at set. Let me just switch it off. I think it's a little bit distracting.
Oh, I just thought it was funny. Everything turned red behind you. I was waiting for you to get beamed
distracting. No, I'll just leave it if it's not distracting. Let's see. Without it.
Was that the spot where another rider's bike blew over? Yes, Tom, that was it. A couple of riders stopped for that. Unfortunately, the one guy that stopped, he's no longer with us. I won't go into that. He didn't continue this life. So anyway, yes, his scoot blew over in the wind when he stopped to help me. And then another guy stopped, and I forget his name, but he saw us stop there and decided, hey, I'll stop and help. And he put his up on the center stand and went to step away from it, and the wind blew it over because it was like 35, almost 40 mile an hour steady winds coming from the south. It's pretty insane. Oop.
Wilcer is also in the chat.
Oh yeah, Will. Hey, Will, how's it going, man?
Also, Quasi, we need to. Do you have a way for people to enter a giveaway? Because I have that.
We can do a giveaway if you want to do a giveaway.
Yeah,
shoot me
yeah.
a private message, either on WhatsApp or whatever, and that'll be our keyword, and we can do a giveaway here.
I don't know. Keyword can be.
It'll be a hashtag and something, so whatever that is, and that's how I do the giveaways.
It's I give it on WhatsApp. It's basically the manufacturer, so and we can let it running for an hour.
Steve, there's going to be plenty of that, and this year, Alex and I are going to be on comms most of the time because we're planning to ride together almost the entire trip. You know, we're probably going to be joined at the hip for the entire 8,000 miles. So you're going to hear a whole bunch of fun behind the scenes commentary. Let's put it that way. I wish that I had recorded all of Adrian and I's conversations. I just didn't have the gear to record that. But we had some hilarious, fantastic conversations that I'd love to go back and just listen to now. It was so much fun. But yeah, there are going to be a lot of those events where you get 3 or 4 days into these type of trips, and it's just brutal torture. And you're sore, you're tired, you're just ready for it to end, and you've still got 4 more days ahead of you. And then you get thrust from pavement at 50 miles an hour straight to gravel in 6 inches. And you're like, what the fuck is this? You know, this is not on the map. What kind of sick fuck signs up for this and does it multiple days in a row? Anyway, yeah, plenty of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And not only are we gonna be joined at the hip, you have to take care of me.
Yeah, you got to take care of. Will's saying here, I'm trying to lose weight for the Cannonball.
Oh, we'll lose weight during the Cannonball.
Whatever, don't worry about it. You're going to get sweated out. This is, Cannonball is a different kind of diet, man. Let me tell you.
But
no, I don't know about you, Will. If you've not done, and I'm just saying Will because it's short for Wilcer. I apologize if I'm not saying your name right. I try not to eat much during the day. I've been doing cross-country trips and iron butts for decades and decades. I've got hundreds of these things under my belt. Avoiding eating a lot saves you from unnecessary bio stops and code browns. The worst thing in the world is to be stuck in the middle of nowhere and the roadside burritos that you had 30 minutes ago won out. It's the worst, man. You're like, what do I do? So
Plus, if
generally
you
we'll
have a
eat a little
big
bit of
lunch,
breakfast. What's
plus
that?
if plus if you have a big lunch, you're gonna get sleepy in the
You're going to be
afternoon.
sleepy. You got it. You got it. That's right. So I eat a little bit of lunch. I snack along during the day, and then try to eat a good dinner and
Yeah.
sack out, go to sleep because you're just absolutely knackered after 12 hours of sitting on the scoot. So,
Yeah. I wanted to say about you needing to take care of me. The visa that's on this passport
uh-huh.
was basically attained when I said who I was traveling with.
Right. There you go. There you go.
I started giving details about why I'm going. I'm gonna do a road trip with my scooter.
Right.
I had all the paperwork. I even had
So
uh,
Interpol is watching this live stream right
yeah.
now.
I even had pictures on my phone of the scooter, like, hey, no, this is cool. I'm gonna do it this scooter, and it's gonna be awesome. And then he asked, this Aaron guy you're going to stay, because I had in the application of the visa, I had to specify that I was going to visit somebody or who
Sure.
I
Yeah.
know in the
Yeah.
States.
Where you're going. Yeah. You're not just
Yeah.
wondering. You're
And
not a
he
vagrant.
asked,
Yeah.
who this Aaron guy?
You
And
are going to be a scooter gypsy, but yeah.
yeah, and he asked, who is he? He's 50 something. I hope I got your age right. 50
Yeah.
something guy with three kids, a wife, lives and works in
I'm
Houston.
reasonably respectable. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said
Most days.
he's an American citizen. Yeah. All right. Welcome to America. That's all he
Well,
asked.
saying I'm used to fasting until dinner. Yeah, so you'll fit right in, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's perfect.
we
I
eat light on
also
the road. That way, you don't have to stop and take a leak in the bushes, and or
usually
unexpected.
on the road, if I'm really hungry, I just stop for like a gas station sandwich, like those
Yeah,
ones in plastic, something small, maybe some
yeah.
Pringles, some chips,
Well,
a Coke,
and now
and
this
that's
year
it.
is going to be, yeah, this year will be a new one for me because I've never run one of these type of events with a support vehicle. So this
We
opens up
might
all
have
kinds of
food.
opportunities. We can
Yeah,
have snacks, water, drinks, whatever in the van that I had. Now it's going to have to be a different van. um, it's crushing, man. Um,
I know.
we can have all that stuff in the van and have more breaks, whatever, at the checkpoints and stuff like that. So I'm used to doing these events naked and afraid. Whatever you take with you is what you got. If you break down, you're screwed, that kind of thing. So it'll be a little less logistically stressful this time. We hope. We'll see.
Yeah, having a
Or
car with
camp toilet.
I'm used to going in the bushes.
Yeah, well, that's no big deal. It's the unexpected code browns that are not any fun. Yeah, trying to squat down in the bushes somewhere and not make a mess out of everything. That's not good. That's a bad day.
Uh,
That's a real bad
yeah.
day.
Usually in my 20s it wasn't a problem. Now I'm getting close to 40, and
Right, right.
sometimes when food doesn't go down well, it kind of comes
Yeah,
out
and you just never
exploding.
know. I mean, what kind of oils are they cooking with, or is the stuff fresh, or whatever? You could have
Yeah,
all kinds of surprises and not know it until 30 minutes down the road. So,
yeah. We're still gonna have fun. Still gonna
so
camp.
Will was asking, what comms are we using, and Excelsior. Kevin
Cardo.
answered. We use Cardos, or I use Cardos anyway, and I've got a spare for Alex if he doesn't have the right model or whatever. I'm doing
I have the packed out bolt. It has mesh. It can connect with edge and
Bolt. Yeah, the
everything.
Bolt
So
should work fine. I've got the
yeah,
Edge. I've got a couple of extra edges, so yeah, we'll be good. And I'm going to try to hook up one in the chase vehicle. That way, Josh can either have a headset or have it played through the
there
Bluetooth.
are special headsets for the packed
Yeah,
out
I've
edge.
seen those. Yeah, but
They're not all that expensive.
in a car here, you can't run with headphones on. That's illegal in all 50 states. You cannot have headphones on because it's a driver safety thing. It's an impediment thing because you might not be able to hear other cars or emergency vehicles. So you've at least got to have one ear open or hands free or whatever.
Cut it in half
Yeah, there you go. There you just take the
and
ear
just
cup out of his.
strap it with some zip ties to his head.
Yeah, duct tape it to your head.
Let's give off the word for the giveaway so people, at least we can give them,
Okay,
I don't
let
know,
me pull up
15 or 20 minutes to
my.
join.
Yeah, let me put it in my WhatsApp. Okay, I fired up WhatsApp. Shoot me the message over there.
Haven't you received messages?
I'm not seeing it. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. I hear my phone buzzing, but I don't see it on the computer. How
So
weird. I'm logged into both, but I don't see it on my WhatsApp on the computer. How very odd.
sometimes it happens.
Yeah, that's right. Let's skip this. I'm going to go over. I'm going to grab the. I will set up our giveaway here. Okay. Do you want to show what it is?
Yep, I have it
I'll put
ready.
you full screen and you can demo what today's giveaway is. We're how far into the live stream are we? We're an hour and 12
An
minutes
hour.
in. We've got 72 people watching. So Alex told me beforehand that this should be a drop ship item that can go anywhere in the world. So
Yep.
whether you're tuned in from the US or Europe or wherever, this should be able to be drop shipped right to you.
EONON promised they would ship to anybody in the world. I asked them to send the second unit to me so I can make sure to ship it, but they said, no, we'll handle the shipping. Don't worry. We have
Okay.
warehouses all around the world and we can do worldwide shipping. And it's one of these, an EONON P6 that I mounted on
Let me
David.
get you on full screen here.
That I mounted on
There you
David, the ADX 125. It
Cool.
does. It's a 7-inch screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly. It has a remote. You can see it right here, so you can control the screen from the handlebars. It has built-in GPS for logging your speed, your position, your heading, everything. It also has a 4K front camera and a 1K rear camera. It comes with a 64 gig card included. What else? It has its own speaker, but yeah, it's not the sound system on a road glide.
Right.
But it's completely waterproof. It also comes with tire pressure monitoring system. So everything integrated: front and rear cameras, TPMS sensors, remote, GPS, memory card, plus your Android Auto and your or Apple CarPlay integration. And you have a specific app to download the videos. So yeah, the value is about 160 euros, so about 160, 170, $180, something like that. And as a sponsorship, they have agreed to send one over to whoever wins this giveaway.
Okay. Trying to get it all set up here. I'm probably screwing it all up, but I will make this fit the screen and we'll do the giveaway here.
I don't know. Let's let it run for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. We'll, if you can put it on the screen or something.
All right. So here is our. Oh, will you quit?
We're broadcasting professionals, as everyone can
Yeah, this
tell.
is pro. This is Pro Tools.
Pro
man.
level.
I'm trying to capture a window, and it's fighting every step of the way. Okay. So hopefully I'll get this set here. I've got to get this back. Apologize, everyone. I am not set up for this today. I was trying to get everything all set, and I didn't get my normal layouts loaded. I had rebuilt my computer because of some instability issues a while back, and I didn't get all my stuff transferred over. Okay, I think I've got it. Let me add the correct window capture. Get out of there.
Did you leave me full screen? You left me full screen.
I left you full screen. We're going to
Yeah.
look up your nose while you type.
I also
Come on.
realized I haven't
Everything's
posted
funny
on
with you, man.
I didn't make a post on YouTube that I was live. I did make in the morning announcing it, and then I was late for it.
Window capture. It's capturing. It's annoying the piss out of me. I've gone in circles with it 3 times now. It's capturing the StreamYard window, but not the one I want. It's capturing our main window. That's the one I want. Quit. It's the stupid thing is just looking for anything that's Google Chrome and not going after the one that I want.
Not the right one, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Get back to this. We are going to go to exit solo layout. And there is your there's your keyword, everybody. Sorry it took so long. Pro video tools going on here. So that is the keyword. What you need to do is type in the comments hashtag EONON. EONON. It doesn't matter whether it's uppercase or lowercase. You only get one entry. You can type it in as many times as you want, but that just spams up the comments. And adding those comments in there gets you entered for this drawing, and you will get yourself a is an Android unit.
Yeah, it's Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Depends what you have. So you can wirelessly connect. Like I've tested with my Android phone, my Samsung, but on the trip that we did on the 1st of May with the practice run, Alex that ran the ADX, he has an iPhone. So it works both ways.
Cool.
It's honestly kind of like these units. You should try one out because it's so nice. I still have the phone on the dash or on the handlebar, but it's with the screen off. And it's
it's a remote display. It does everything. Yeah. I've had IOCHI. I don't think EONON has reached out to me, but several others that do these similar Android, Apple CarPlay, head units for motorcycles. They've reached out to me wanting me to do demos, and I just haven't gotten into that yet. But I guess this would be a good opportunity. Whoops.
I honestly really like them. And they've been quite reliable on. So I have basically on the ADX I have from EONON. On my colleague Alex's Maxim 400, he has an AOCHI unit. On the Zontes, I have a Carpuride unit. And on the
Carpuride, that's the one I couldn't remember. Yeah, they've reached out to me.
And on the Symphony ST, I'm running a Kaiji unit. 4 different companies, 4 different devices built differently. None of them have failed. And I leave them outside in the rain. I wash my scooters at a jet wash, full soap and jet wash and everything on them.
Cool. And, so they're all waterproof. They've all been pretty reliable.
Yep. I haven't had any kind of issue. Funny fact, the Zontes, the 350 that I have, can come with factory cameras, and it has a little module on the camera for the cameras that sits in the nose of the scooter next to the battery, so it's behind fairings. We've had 2 instances where we had to change that unit under warranty because it got water damage. And the Carpuride that I have on my Zontes, which sits on the handlebar exposed to everything, has been running fine and hasn't had any issue with water damage.
Do you have any trouble with I don't know if you've ridden with them in the rain, but does water affect the screen and start changing settings, buttons, any of that?
Most of them have a setting. You can go into settings to turn off the touchscreen, and they have a button that you press to turn it back on. But I've never had to use that.
Gotcha. All right. Cool.
Plus, they work tremendously well with gloves. I don't know if they use a dual touch screen with capacitive and resistive.
Capacitive and resistive, yeah. Hard to tell. But I'm going to step away for 1 second. I just remembered I left a beer in the freezer. Oops.
Ooh. I might have to get to go for a new one as well, but I'm not gonna leave everyone alone. Let's check the comments. I need to remember that you guys are here to be entertained, and I don't know how to do a belly dance, so I'm just gonna answer comments. Let's see. Anything interesting? Does the EONON have night mode on the screen? Yes, I've seen it turn to a darker setting, like to the dark theme of Google Maps when you're using it. Beer goes boom. He's gonna be okay if it's okay. Beer no go boom.
Beer no go boom. It's icy, frosty cold, but no boom. That's a good thing.
Oh, one for you, Aaron. What camera are you using?
What camera? Which one of us? Oh, for me. Let me get down to the bottom of the comments. Roy. Okay, so that's a good question, Roy. As things stand now, I will be running the GoPro Hero 11 and 13, which I already have. Well, I've got the 11s. I've got two 11s. Someone has offered to give me a 13 that they have that they're not using, and I may buy one more. I've reached out to Insta360. They have solicited me on multiple occasions to give me a bunch of demo cameras and, promote their brand, do reviews, things like that. So I responded to one of their latest emails about a month ago, and I haven't heard back yet. But it was kind of during the Chinese holiday, so I'm not sure. If that comes through, I'll probably be running a combination of the Insta360 X5 and GoPro. We'll find out.
And for me, a DJI Action 4 on the helmet, and the old first GoPro Hero 7 Black on the handlebars, probably
Nice.
without a battery in it and plugged into the scooter. Hopefully it lasts the trip. I have a second one of these for backup.
Morning, Glenn.
Sonics,
Good morning.
what made me buy the Zontes?
What made you buy this Zontes?
It's a big whale of a scooter, and I wanted a scooter to cover long distances very fast to go to events and be comfortable. So it's a big whale of a scooter with a almost 40 horsepower engine that could cruise all day at 80 to 90 miles an hour. That's 140 to 150 kilometers an hour.
Yeah,
it's a touring machine. I wanted the Goldwing, but I couldn't afford the Goldwing, so I got the next best thing. It has electrically adjustable windshield. It has heated grips. It comes standard with handguards with a big old fairing in front that basically when you lift the windshield, you can ride without a helmet at 100 miles an hour and not wear sunglasses. So that was the point. It's a big touring scooter.
Question from Andy to both of us. All your scooters, which one's the favorite and why? You go ahead, Alex.
For me, it's simple. For which one am I paying 5,000 euros to ship to the other side of the planet?
There you go, Donnie.
Exactly.
For me, scooter, if we're talking just scooters. Everybody knows I've got a ton of bikes. I would say the PCX 150 is probably my favorite scooter because it's so capable. It's got good highway speeds, very good economy. It's a very practical scoot. If we're talking mini motos, then it's going to be the Super Cub. Hands down, Super Cub.
You like it more than the CT 125?
100%.
Really?
It's more of a road machine. Oh yeah, 1,000%. It's more of a road machine. It's got better aerodynamics. It has it's just smoother all the way around. It's better for the roads. The CT 125 is a trail bike, and it does not like living on the street. Period. So,
really interesting. I want to ride both of them. I haven't ridden a Cub.
Yeah, you're welcome to ride my whole fleet, man.
And I haven't ridden the trail, and the trail is not available in Europe. You can't find them.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's just for my purposes, it's not as good as the Super Cub.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
All right. $25 super sticker. Thank you for the donate.
At
We'll
25
put all the
Romanian
proceeds
lei.
from these donations in Alex and I's road fund for
Yeah.
beers and refreshments and dinners. That's where all this is going.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure everyone's noticed I didn't make audible mention of it, but
Yeah.
the banner
I
running at the
have
top of the screen, Alex
buy
set
me a
up all of
coffee.
his pay links as far as supporting him. So if you want to throw a few bucks his way, follow those links up there in the top and help him with his ride across the U.S.
Money. I'm just happy I
Yargo.
have.
I don't know if I said your name correctly, sir. I will be using my Shoei Neotech 2 again this season. And then I may have to retire it after that because it's getting a little noisy and leaks. It's getting leaks along the visor seal on the top. It annoys me, but I'll be using the Neotech 2. We'll leave the entry up there for a little bit longer. We got 30 people in the entry. If you haven't typed in hashtag EONON, put your name in there and get in the drawing that we'll do in a few minutes.
Yeah, if you're on the stream, just write hashtag EONON in the chat. It's a free worldwide giveaway. Come on, everybody enter.
So I'm so bad. Yeah, we just we kind of touched on that right before you asked it. I think what was our favorite kind of scoots. So
I think he's asking scooter brand and model out of everything, not that we own.
Oh, okay. So overall, that's different.
For me, you see, coming from a, I don't know, much lower level of income than you in the States and many people from Western Europe,
and you guys have different bikes over there too. So
yes, we do have different bikes, but the Asian manufacturers that are coming in now are eating a big chunk out of the market because they are more affordable. Yes, we do love our Hondas, we love our Yamahas, and I love how the new PCX is made. But for example, they put a brake disc on the back, but it only has front ABS from what I've heard. I haven't ridden it yet.
And not rear. Yeah.
And it costs almost, I think it's about 100 or 200 euros cheaper than the ADX 125 from Sim, which is this fully built cannonballing machine straight from the factory. So yeah, the value proposition is not there. It's the Honda name. It's the Honda reliability, or should be the Honda reliability. And you also get the Honda experience. You get into a big showroom, you buy your scooter, you might actually buy a car in the meantime. Yes, you get the support of a big manufacturer, but you're paying for it.
Yeah.
And when you have options, and now we're starting to get in brands like Voje, which are even cheaper than Sim and Kimco, and still properly reliable, well-made machines. Voje has just launched in Romania a scooter similar to my Symphony ST, like big wheel, 16-inch wheel, big city scooter, like my Symphony, Piaggio Liberty, Kimco Agility. Their scooter has a 125cc engine with 15 horsepower, and it costs about 1,000 euros less than my Symphony, which is another 1,000 euros less than a Honda SH 125. So that thing is almost half price from a Honda SH. And it comes with Bluetooth connectivity for your phone, ABS, traction control, keyless entry, keyless go, start, stop, everything for half the price.
Right.
So I don't know.
As long as the reliability is there and the dealer support network as far as parts and service, then I don't really care what brand it is. It just has to have the parts train behind it, because you're going to go through, consumables as well as wear items. They've got to be replaced. And the problem that we have here in the States with a lot of the Chinese brands is there's no pervasive dealer network. You don't have good service and support chains to get you those parts. Now, granted, we can order them from overseas, but you don't really know who you're buying from. It's not a dealer network. It's not an established process, like the bigger brands. And more often than not, what we end up with here are fly-by-night dealers that will pop up and they start selling a whole bunch of stuff. They'll sell it local, they'll sell it online, they're in business for 6 months, and then they fold up and go away. Well, it doesn't do great for longevity if you need to go back to them for parts, or something else has gone bad with the sale or with the machine. So
that was the problem that we used to have here with Chinese scooters about 20 years ago, when a lot of people trying to make a quick buck with import a container of like 50cc off-brand name scooters very cheap and sell them very cheap, and then people would use them for a year. They would be good for a year and a half, but then maintenance would catch up. You need brake pads, you need a CVT belt, you need rollers, you need maintenance, regular maintenance. And you would search for the company you bought the scooter from, and you would see that they're no longer in business. They just disappeared.
Exactly. And that's what happens here all the time, especially in Houston.
Well,
Any of your large cities, your shipping ports, we get a lot of those businesses that'll pop up. We'll have
yeah,
people that'll buy a container or two of cheap ass motorcycles, or little quads or whatever, all Chinese built, of course. And they'll be in business for maybe 6 months, and then they fold up. And if you bought a warranty from them, good luck.
yeah.
They were bankrupt the second they opened their doors. Yeah.
Here they're starting to clean up their act, and may be aware in the States, because I think the Chinese are actually trying they're trying it out in Europe first, because it's smaller. We're
Yeah.
separated into countries, and you can just launch in one single country, build your dealer network there, then go to the next country, build your network there. And like it would be in the States, like state by state, somebody launching a brand, but only state by state.
Right.
Here it's completely conceivable that we have, I don't know, we have SIM in Romania, we have SIM in Greece, which is to the south, but Bulgaria, that is between Romania and Greece, doesn't have SIM. There's no dealer for SIM in Bulgaria. Nobody
Interesting.
imports them in Bulgaria. But that's okay here. Like, I don't know, if the Bulgarians don't want SIM, they don't want SIM. I don't care. I have it in my country. So they're starting here. QJ Motor is starting to rack up dealers in Europe. Somebody even said in the comments, Longia is starting to rack up dealers in Europe. Zontes the same. Daytona that we have from Greece the same. So slowly but surely they're starting to build dealer networks. And as soon as they will get big, and I think at some point they're gonna start migrating to the US.
Right. I've got a couple of questions here that I'm going to throw up on the screen. Did you cover all the expenses for the adventure? I think that's still in progress, right? More or less.
Let's say my nest egg, I think you'll call it, basically everything I have put to the side, would cover what I'm missing, and the
Your
misses
retirement fund.
yeah, the misses
Burning the
is
retirement fund for the Cannonball.
yeah, the missus is totally okay with emptying it out now and putting it back in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
So I've kind of laid low with asking for sponsorships from different companies, because everybody comes with an agenda, and I don't want to make the whole trip just a sales trip. Like every video will start, hey,
Sure.
welcome to third day of
It's
the
about the
Cannonball.
adventure. If you can, if
Here's
people
the
can
list
help
of everything
offset
you need to
the cost.
buy.
Right. If people can help offset the cost, to add to the enjoyment of watching, that's great. But we're going to do this one way or another. I mean, it's happening. These are experiences that are core memories. You take them with you. So
Yeah. Currently,
let's do the drawing. We've got 35 people in there. Last 60 seconds, everybody. If you haven't put yourself in there for the drawing and you want to win the EONON waterproof motorcycle GPS display, whatever you want to call it, full entertainment computer for a motorcycle, there you go. Put yourself in on the list. Hashtag EONON in the comments. We're going to spin the dial here in a minute and see who wins it. This will ship internationally, worldwide.
Let me see. want to see what you're doing.
There's a good question up here. I'm going to throw up after we do the drawing, but physical endurance. That's a good question. We'll go into that. I'm sure Alex has got some good pointers on how he does his cannonballs. Over here in the States, the distances are so much larger, longer. It's a different set of challenges. So I'll go into a few of the things that I do.
I'm going to learn.
All right, we got 36 people. Somebody else jumped in.
Nice.
Somebody else jumped in. A couple
Come on,
of
guys.
Soren, I think, was the one. Mad's World was in there a minute ago, but I think Soren was our 36th. Can't find that on my computer. What's a hashtag? The pound key, sir. Shift 3 on US keyboards. Shift 3. It's the pound sign EONON. No spaces. Looks just like Soren's here. It doesn't have to be capital. It can be lowercase. Just can't have any spaces in there.
Let's leave it to 2 minutes.
He got it. 37. You're number 37, sir.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's long enough. It's been sitting up there for like 15 minutes. I say we spin the dial, shall we?
Spin it.
Here we go.
Let's see who's the lucky one tonight.
Oh, wait. We got Danny trying to get in. Nope, change that. It's not a pound sign. It's the other pound. It's the American pound. Try again, Danny.
Use a copy paste from the chat.
Looks like that. Nope, that ain't it. EONON. Ubi got in there. It's the pound sign. See if you can find that on your screen, on your keyboard there, Danny. It's not the British pound sign. It's
hashtag.
The hashtag. Tic-tac-toe board. That's what we called it when we were kids. Tic-tac-toe sign. Looks like that. All right. We're going to run it. I'm going to give it 10 more seconds. Just about that time.
Any more entries? I actually can't see the chat at this moment.
38. Somebody got in there. Danny got it. All right. You got it under the wire. All right. So we're going to run it right now. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We spin it. Oh, I'm in the wrong screen. Dang it. I broke my own 3, 2, 1. I'm looking like a newbie here. I got too many windows. I'm looking at the wrong window. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, come on, come on. Who is it? Who is it?
Soren got it.
Oh.
It slows down on like the last 2 or 3 names, and you're like, all right, I got it. Oh, I just went past. Soren, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I'm not even going to attempt your last name. Let's see if I can get this shrunken in to show the whole thing. There we go. Hort. Would that be how you pronounce your last name?
I think
apologize.
It's more Nordic. I think it would be.
It's Nordic. It looks Norwegian.
Hjort?
Hjort? Yeah. Soren Hjort.
That
congrats.
O with the. I think that's not the umlaut sign. The O with the line through it. I don't know how to pronounce it. I pronounce that O, but it probably has a different.
Soren, if I'm not saying your name properly, I apologize. Send me an email at quasimotard@gmail.com. Or you can send one to Alex. Do you want to give her your email, Alex?
Yeah. ridewithalex01@gmail.com.
So ridewithalex01@gmail.com. Send one of us your shipping information,
yes.
Full international shipping information where you need to receive a package. And we'll make sure that Alex gets that out to you.
Yeah, I'll send them over to EONON and they will ship you a unit.
Awesome.
And I'm curious to see if I got it right. I think you're from Sweden or Finland or Norway, but I think Sweden, or at least the name.
All right.
He'll enlighten us in the chat.
Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, oops, I can take that comment down. Now that I got that out of the way, do you want to show anything about your route? I have that GPS route.
I
my
also
side.
can
And,
open it. Do you have it in Gaia
if
GPS,
you
like
want to
the
open it
actual GPS?
in, yeah, if you want to open it in Google Maps, it might work better. I have it in Basecamp, Garmin Basecamp, but it doesn't show a lot of the road features that Google does. And Google is not letting me
Uh,
import it because it's too large. They say there's a
I
5 meg
I
GPX.
actually have it in Gaia GPS where I actually made the file. So let me see how this looks. Let me just move this to the side.
We
Yeah,
got 88 people watching. I figured after an hour everybody would taper off, but all right. 87. We just
no,
lost. How does I say it?
yeah. The people that
These are
watch it
long.
love torture,
These
love
are rap
self torture.
sessions. Yeah, these are rap sessions.
The people that watch us love self torture, just like we do.
Okay, let me make you full presenter. You get front center stage, man.
All right, so the route that I planned out, and this is the entire route up to Portland. The first
Okay.
day is just gonna be riding out of Houston, probably on I-10 for a little bit. You tell me if I-10 is rideable.
I'll route you past that. We're going to go up north and kind of parallel I-10. We'll take some of the back roads, just stay out of the shit that is I-10.
Yeah, and then taper
Mm-hmm.
and past
LaGrange,
Austin,
LaGrange, the ZZ
LaGrange,
Top song, just outside LaGrange.
and then past Austin. I don't know if this is the proper way to cross Austin.
We'll find a way. Yeah.
And then northwest up the way, I think I put somewhere along the way a stop for sleeping. The first day is just gonna be something like 800 kilometers, or what is it, 500 miles, because there's nothing to
Sure.
see, just riding. Then we're probably gonna stop. Oh, I put the first stop here in Andrews. There's actually a camper site right here for camper vans,
Okay.
and maybe we can spend the night over there. Then on the second day, off to Hobbs and on to Roswell. I've put a stop maybe for breakfast. We'll see how far it is. At the entrance sign, the Roswell entrance sign, and then the Roswell McDonald's or
Yep.
Dunkin'
Been
Donuts,
there.
which has like I saw in the pictures. It's like a big UFO
Yeah.
type
It's UFO
building.
themed. Everything in Roswell is UFO themed.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. Maybe considering we're gonna be spending the night somewhere in Andrews, just right up here, have some late breakfast, and then ride on
Okay.
through Lincoln National Forest and up to what else? This would be our second stop here at Dattlewell Campground.
Okay.
I calculate the distance. This is where we need to stop. Nothing to see apart from Roswell. From Houston up to here, the only Roswell I have like as sightseeing. The rest is nothing. Maybe we'll figure out on the way some more stops, something more interesting. But in the time I had, only Roswell, like I had in mind.
Okay.
Then from the Dattel Mountains, or how do you pronounce them? Dattel, upwards to the Grand Canyon. And I've avoided I-40. So we're gonna go up
Yeah.
to
You want to stay off
Ganado.
I-40. Yeah. That's the pretty much the route that Adrian and I took right there.
Yeah, and the third night should be here at the Grand Canyon, sleeping here.
Cool. That looks like South Rim. Yep. That's right where we stayed in 21 on our way
It
back.
is, what is it?
That's the South Rim.
Mother Ground,
Yeah.
Arizona Trail, South
Yeah.
Edge
And if you're
Trail.
lucky, you might even be able to see some elk and very large wild animals on the highway going in there. We're out
Yeah.
of there. Adrian and I saw some standing on the side of the road. We're talking 2,200-pound bull elk just standing on the side of the road looking at cars going by. I was like, oh dear God, please don't charge out in front of me.
Yeah. So on the fourth day, after we leave the Grand Canyon, we're gonna go south to Williams. Uh, I think I think we are gonna have to go on I-40 for just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because where is it? Right here, after Ash Fork, we're going on off of I-40 onto this loop. So let's put it in the screen. This loop off of our I-40 to Kingman, because this is a part of historic Route 66. I don't know if it comes up here. It said at one point.
Hey, Soren said we pronounced his name correctly. So Soren Hjort, I guess. That's cool.
Nice.
We got it right. Not bad
This,
for
as you can see here, this is
a white
Route
guy and a
66.
Romanian, huh?
It doesn't show, but this is Route 66.
Yep. Yeah, old Route 66 goes right through
So
there.
this
That's
is a section of old Route 66, and it was a shame to like just pass next to Route 66 and not ride a bit of old Route 66. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And then from Kingman.
Yeah, well, you can definitely join us at the Grand Canyon or anywhere before. You let us know. We'll let you know that our itinerary of kind of where we are.
I already sent him the. He already.
We'll get in contact with you. We'll give you our private. Yeah, we'll give you our private info as far as phone numbers and all that. I'm not going to give that out here on the stream.
I already have Will's phone number, and I already gave him the GPX file and the Word with the itinerary. So
there was a question a second ago about, does every Scooter Cannonball include unpaved sections? Yes, some more than others.
Probably.
The big thing about the Cannonball route is there are two kinds of unpaved sections or intentions, let's call them. Every now and then, the organizers will throw in a couple of higher difficulty sections, intentionally adding some gravel or off-road or something like that to spice it up a bit. The second unintentional consequence is none of these routes are pre-run or pre-vetted in any way, shape, or form. They're mapped out on Google Maps using satellite views, and that's it. Nobody runs these in advance. And this year takes that to a new level, 25. We are not getting the actual route in advance this year. We know the starting and ending points for each day. That's it. The route is being kept secret to make it more of a navigational challenge for everybody. So days 2 through 8, we only receive the route the previous night. And that actively excludes people from doing pre-running of this route. So it's going to be a surprise to everybody. And what I mean by that is we're going to end up with plenty of roads like we had in 21, where you're on pavement, you're doing just fine, you're hauling ass, and literally the pavement cuts from asphalt to gravel, and not necessarily graded gravel, in 6 inches. There's no warning. It might say, unpaved road ahead, but they're not telling you what that is. And it might be 20 miles of shit ahead of you. So good luck. That answers that, I hope.
Yeah. So after Route 66, doing this bit of Route 66, from Kingman, we're not going to go straight to Hoover Dam, because I just realized recently that here in Bullhead City, right here at this car museum, the Don Legging car or logging, is the motorcycle named the Black Princess, a Honda GL 1100 Goldwing with I forgot what his name was. The guy from Argentina rode. It's the longest ride ever ridden on a motorcycle.
Oh, nice. Okay.
10 years, 750 kilometers, 750,000 kilometers. That's about 450 miles, 450,000 miles.
Yeah.
It's the Argentinian guy who wrote. The bike is there in this museum. You can see it. And I think it would be nice to actually see the bike. And after that, we go upwards north to Las Vegas. A small detour to see the Hoover Dam. Into Las Vegas, ride the strip, just go up and down it, and then out of Las Vegas quickly, because I don't want to get even poorer.
Yeah, no gambling, please.
Yeah,
no strip.
I'm not good. I'm not
hookers picking pockets.
Yeah, I'm not big on.
Don't even stop to get off the bike.
I'm not big on gambling, so we're not gonna go into casinos. What I want to do the strip is just ride the strip and maybe take a couple of pictures on the
Yeah.
actual Las
Yeah,
Vegas
maybe a
strip.
couple pictures in front of the was it the Bellagio or whatever that has the
Yeah, something like that.
waterfall, the waterfall to music. That's kind of cool.
I don't know on which side is the hotels. That's why I put just enter. Somewhere around here is the last Welcome to Las Vegas sign, and just ride up it, turn around, ride back down it, and then just exit. Goodbye, Las Vegas. And
Oh, Revolut. Sorry, Revolut, you missed. We already did the drawing. We finished that
oh,
out a
sorry.
few minutes ago, but maybe we can do it again later, another day.
And after that,
And Will has got the correct saying there. Lose it all in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, including all of your money.
exactly. So after Vegas, we can camp right here in Pahrum. And I saw a campsite here that's off the main road. This might be like a gravel road or it might be tarmacked because Google Street View is not updated. And here we have like a campsite. I saw it on Google Maps. It was mapped out on a campsite. And it's right next. We exit through. This is a racetrack. I forgot which race is it.
Yeah. So this
Justin
is a
Peak
good
Circuit.
Yeah, this is a good segue into the preparation and planning. M. Brady is saying carry a lot of water crossing the desert is nasty. That's a good segue into the
Yeah.
previous question about physical conditioning and kind of the differences of doing cross country trips in Europe versus America, stuff like that. So I'm looking for the comment where they were asking about physical conditioning. There we go. That one. So I'll let Alex expand on it in a minute. I'll just say quickly, as far as physical endurance, as long as you have worked yourself up to these type of events, long rides, it's mostly about gluteal fortitude. My coin saying there. You have to be ready to sit on the seat for a long time, a lot of hours. You get off periodically, of course, when you refuel the bike, and that's a great opportunity to stretch your legs, stretch a little bit, get some blood flowing back in your butt cheeks and your legs and your feet and everything. Get a drink, while you're refueling the bike or something like that. But these are timed events. So the longer you're on the road or the longer you're stopped, the more it affects your timing. So I always try to make multi-purpose stops. Wait till the bike needs to be refreshed, and that's when I refresh myself, that kind of thing. Now, as far as the physical conditioning, it's just butt endurance, really, and making sure that you're not getting hot spots with the clothing that you're wearing. There's a lot of different factors that can play in. The jeans that you're wearing, the underwear that you're wearing can dig into your skin and cause problems and real comfort issues. So there's a lot of things. We could go into that for hours, but generally, if you're in moderate physical shape and you move around, stretch around, keep yourself somewhat mobile, even while you're on the bike, twist around, kind of shift around, you'll do okay. Getting into these desert sections, it is very important to have a lot of water with you. I usually carry hydration bladders or water jugs, whatever. I never get into any of these hot climate areas without at least 2 or 3 liters of water. And if I can carry more, I carry more, because you're going to sweat it out on these scooters in 110-degree heat in the sun with nothing to shade you, and you're only moving 50 or 60 miles an hour. So it can be an endurance event, and you never want to get dehydrated out there in the heat, because that's potentially deadly, both from a rider fatigue standpoint, concentration, as well as heat stroke. Body just starts shutting down and you don't function well, and you don't want to be riding a bike when you're not functioning. So
yeah,
I don't know if you got anything to add to that you want to put in as far as how you tackle the cannonball stuff.
well, honestly, I just maintain hydration. Like hydrate on the road. Make sure you're hydrated. Plus, what I saw when I did the RM, but you kind of have to drink water and hydrate yourself as you ride. Don't
As you
wait
go,
until you're
little by
thirsty.
little. Yeah, little
Yeah,
by little. You don't chug a lug a whole liter of something. You kind of sip it and just maintain. Because when
and
you overload on liquids, then your body has to filter it out, and you got to stop and pee, and you're kind of defeating your purpose of covering ground.
yeah, and also when that's why I keep a cup holder on my scoot. I have a bottle that I can drink from as I ride, and every now and then, every 15 or 20 minutes, just take a sip, and I maintain hydration throughout the day.
Yeah.
Uh, it's difficult when you get into desert climates. We do have a couple of days here where temperatures can go really high. I think something like 100, 110, 115 in your
We're going to be,
in your
yeah, we'll,
Fahrenheit.
we'll get into some hot areas, especially in southern, in the southern states, getting into New Mexico and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult. But one of your presidents has had, I think, one of the best sayings ever said. JFK. We chose to do. We chose to go to the moon not because it is easy, but because it is hard.
because it's hard. That's right. This is a
And
challenge.
doing something difficult is always more rewarding at the end.
That's right.
And
100%. And
uh,
that goes back to the other questions about doing it on larger bikes. You could do it on a larger bike, sure,
yeah,
but it's not the same challenge. So
you could ride a Goldwing and you would basically sleep all the way.
if I had a scooter, I'd try this, but you're more of a man than I.
It's actual
I have
simple.
buns of steel. I can tolerate a lot of really bad seats and really long hours.
Yeah.
My lower back is starting to get me in my older years here, but I still power through it.
I think us short people ride well on scooters for long periods of time
True.
because I'm
True.
also short. I think
Yeah.
5'9" in
Yeah.
American
You're a
unit.
couple inches taller than I am. Yeah. So yeah, we present less wind load. It's easier for the scoot because
We
you're
have
not.
room to stretch out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and M. Brady is saying the hotter the temperatures, the roads heat up your tires. That's right. So the higher temperatures on a scooter in particular affect the CVT. It wears out your
yeah,
belt faster because CVTs are friction items, and they got a big fan on the front of them to suck air through there. But the hotter the ambient air is, the harder it is on the belt. So
yeah.
that's one issue. And then of course tires wear faster in high heat. So
All right. Shall we continue with the route? Because
sure.
now it gets interesting.
All right.
Let me just switch. There we go. So after Vegas, and hopefully we'll still have money to continue, we can camp here in this point where it should be a campsite, a campground. Then we come back, and now we're entering Death Valley. And
And let
I've
me
made
tell you, it's friggin' hot. That's why
and
they call it Death Valley.
I've made a small detour to Badwater Basin with I think it's like minus 300 feet in altitude or something like that. And as far as I remember, this is like 15 miles and 15 miles, so 30 miles total detour. And we make the detour in Furnace Creek. So
Furnace Creek, nice name.
yeah, that's encouraging. And after that, we continue out of Death Valley, and I think where is it? I think on this road, I saw this section. It raises up about 2,000 or 3,000 feet,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's
Will is
just
saying
straight road.
it's the lowest point in the world. Yeah, and when you get out there, it's if you've never been there, it's staggering the difference in barometric pressure as you drop below sea level. You can feel it physically. You can feel it with the heat and the heavier, thicker air, the higher pressure. It's
Yeah.
oppressive to breathe out there. It's crazy. The feeling is so
Th-
dystopian is not the right word. It's uncomfortable.
this is also going to be a very interesting point in the trip. At least for us riding it on camera, is probably not going to be interesting at all. But for us, it's going to be because if we look here at the starting point in
Mhm.
stovepipe wells. Yeah. I have here, it says 50 meters of altitude. So probably here is 0 meters of altitude. And it's a full straight line all the way up to, let's see if I can find the highest one. About 1,500 meters of altitude. I don't know how much that is in feet. Let me get it on the phone.
It's 5,000 feet about.
So
Not
a
quite.
straight line from 0 to 5,000 feet.
It's 3 feet 3 inches per meter. So.
And length is gonna be about 10 to 15 miles. I think this section is in length. So just a straight shot up. That's gonna be interesting. No switchbacks, no nothing, just a straight shot
just
up.
And that we're going to end up doing that several times during the Cannonball as well. Getting into the Rocky Mountains, it resets your whole scale of what big is. People that haven't traveled the country and seen the Rockies, they live out in the Appalachians, or they live in areas that have got some hills, and they call those hills mountains. Those aren't mountains, buddy. You get out to the Rockies and it really changes your perspective. We're talking like the Himalayas, that kind of stuff. These are tall rocks out there, and you get into these grades going uphill for 45 minutes at a time straight. You're just stuck going uphill forever at like a 3% grade, and they're like, oh my god, is this ever going to end?
It just never ends. Turkey,
it never
like
ends.
that.
And we got stuck on the little Super Cubs. We got stuck between second and third gear. It was too tall of a ratio to pull in third gear, but second gear was a little bit too short, so we would end up bumping the rev limiter. So we just put it in second gear and set the throttle at about 80% and trundled along for 30 plus minutes at a time at 28 miles an hour. It's like, oh my god, are we ever going to get there?
Yeah, it's Turkey was like that. It's not necessarily mountainous, but it's all sitting at about 6,000 feet, 7,000 feet. Feet would be in feet, and you just go up and down for half an hour going down, half an hour going up, and because there are no trees, you had no sense that you're going up.
No, and it'll wreck your brain. I don't know how much mountain riding you've done, but I'm a flatlander. I've grown up my entire life on flatland, and I've traveled the country. I've been in mountains, more times than I can count. But when you spend extended periods in the mountains, especially in those featureless areas, you totally lose your scale of what up down is. You can't judge inclines anymore, and the only way that you know that you're still climbing is your engine is straining and you're not gaining speed. And it's just insane. So many times on the last 2 Cannonballs, we've been stuck in these crazy inclines, and I would swear that I'm on flat land. No, we're going up. We're going up.
I found the trick in Turkey, how to figure it out. You look behind you.
Yeah, sometimes. But if the road is really flat, that doesn't give you perspective. And there are places that we're going to cross during this trip. You'll see what I mean. It's literally laser straight from horizon to horizon. And the only time that you can see the difference in incline is if you're on the upslope or the downslope of something, and you can see a little bit of earth curvature behind you. It's literally laser straight as far as you can see, 40 miles, 50 miles. It's insane. Like the Great Basin in Utah, unbelievable. You're like, okay, I need a time warp to get me to the other end of this road because it doesn't feel like I'm moving.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, and after that, we get out of Death Valley, hopefully alive. If not, even dead, we're going to continue the trip. Nothing is stopping us. We're going into Yosemite National Park, where we're going to spend the night.
Jeremiah, thanks for joining in, buddy.
Yeah. So we're going to spend the night somewhere in a campsite in Yosemite Valley. And somewhere around here, I put the point. We'll figure it out on route.
Cool.
After Yosemite, we drop into San Jose and San Francisco. We're going to tour. We're going to do a bit of a round of San Francisco, including Lombard Street. And also Pier 39, where you can see Alcatraz from Pier 39. Then we're going to cross the Golden Gate Bridge and maybe stop here for some pictures of the scoots with the Golden Gate in the background. And then head off the 101 and divert to the left on Highway 1 and ride the Pacific Coast Highway. Probably going to stop like very soon after San Francisco for another night, because I'm expecting in San Francisco we're going to lose about 2, 3, 4 hours. So I only have like less than 300 miles for this day set up.
Yeah, we'll talk about those days as we get closer to them. What I can tell you is we do not want to be in San Francisco or LA traffic for morning rush hour. So we want to be.
I don't think we're gonna catch it in the morning, because if we leave in Yosemite,
Well, if we stay
here,
overnight in San Francisco, then we would be. So we want to get as far away from that as the plague.
So I put it like this: we're gonna spend the night in Yosemite here, and then ride into San Francisco. We should be around noon in San Francisco, and at about 2, 3 p.m. exit San Francisco. And I think I put like a stop somewhere here in Point Reyes Station.
Okay.
It is about 30, 40 miles out of San Francisco here.
Gotcha. Kevin, I don't know. I need to renew my National Parks Pass, and I think it has one visitor, so we'll sort that out. Kevin is asking about the Parks Pass. We have state passes and national passes here that give you big discounts for sleeping in the national parks or visiting, whatever. It cuts like half price off of it, so it's worth getting if we're going to be staying in a lot of state parks. We'll see.
That's more a bit on your side, because you know how
things
work over there. Yeah. And after that, on the road, following PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, all the way up to Seaside. It's going to be 2 days. We're going to go through the Redwood State Park. We're going to sleep. One night is going to be somewhere here around here in a Redwood State Park, I think above Eureka. I think here I put an overnight stop. Right here we have Elk Prairie Campground.
Okay.
This would be like a correct distance to travel during a day, and then this would put us on the 7th day, and on the 8th day just ride all the way up into Seaside. So 8 days. I'll be landing on the 9th, and I think I would be ready to hit the road on the 11th. So land on the 9th, on the 10th, get everything ready, and on the 11th in the morning, we can set off.
Okay.
That would put us in Seaside on the 18th.
Yeah. That should be about a 7-day trip without any mechanicals or whatever.
Yeah. I've put 8 days on this trip.
Yeah.
So
Neil was talking about wanting to be in on that day as well, on the 18th. So he may meet up with us somewhere along the route. I don't know how much of it he'll ride with us. There was a question earlier in the chat, how many people will be on the route with us? We're probably going to have a minimum of 3 or 4. So Alex, myself, Will after the Grand Canyon, and then a couple of others have talked about joining in. So we could potentially have as many as 5 or 6 people riding in the caravan with us. It might be more, I don't know, but for sure there's going to be at least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then if Neil and Doug is coming from Missouri area, Neil is coming from Louisiana. So I'm not sure how far ahead or behind they'll be, but as we take that trek over, through Las Vegas and all that kind of stuff, they may be heading a little bit more northerly and not go as far over as the coast.
Yeah, like from the Grand Canyon, just shoot up straight to Seaside.
Yeah.
I think the route is decent. We have like 400-mile days, 600 kilometers, something like that. I tried not to go over 650 kilometers, which I managed to do on the 1st of May, riding with my colleague Alex, who is untrained for cannonballing, and with my little protege from work, Sergio, which is 16 years old.
16-year-old, nice.
Yeah, and he just got in autumn he got his A1 license. His total riding experience is just the motorcycle he bought from us. That's like 7,000 kilometers, about 4,000 miles. That's his total riding experience, and yet I could still do it in a day
Nice.
with stops, with
Well,
stopping for
those
lunch
those
and
kind of
everything.
rides are good if you're following behind other experienced riders. You're with experienced riders. You can tag more novice riders with you and kind of show them the ropes because you're keeping them. I don't want to say coddled. That's not the right word. It's not a nice, nice way to say it. But they're being chauffeured more or less and keeping them out of trouble. So.
Yeah, but
So Kevin was making a good point. Anybody that wants to join Alex and I on the ride, you are welcome to join us at your leisure, at your peril, potentially.
yeah,
We're going to be riding our own ride. We're going to take this route that Alex has designed, and I'm going to be riding with him. I'm more or less his U.S. chauffeur and confidant here on this trip. So I'll be sticking with Alex throughout that route. And if we have to adjust the route because of time or distance or whatever, then we'll do that as it happens. But if you want to join us, you are welcome to find us on the road. I'm going to have live trackers running GPS, so you'll know where we're at on the trip. If you want to reach out to us through, social media or whatever and join in for part of the ride. If you're participating in the Cannonball and you just want to caravan up with us, great. If you're just riding along and you want to meet up with us on the road, great. Yeah, we'll try to accommodate you, but we're going to be rolling. We're on a
yeah.
timetable to get up there, so it's not. Oh yeah, we'll sit around for 3 or 4 hours and wait for someone to show up. We're on the
That
road, man.
that was the problem I had. You probably didn't have time. If you watch the video that I just posted with the ride on the 18th of May in the
I haven't had a
Cyprus
chance to
run,
watch it.
a lot more people, including the Marius who I rode with in Turkey, wanted to join in. Also, him
Yeah.
and his wife and two more of his friends. And I told him, I'm doing a practice run for the Cannonball.
Hmm.
It's not a leisure. It's a leisure for
Um,
me because I love
yeah,
doing that, but it's not a
yeah.
leisure run for everybody. We got out of Bucharest. I was leading the pack. I was keeping my pace. My colleague Alex, who's also training for Marathon 1000, he was on it, keeping the pace. We only got about 30 miles down the road where we had to stop and had like a bit of an argument with everyone. Like, this pace is too alert. We're going too fast. We're going a bit above the speed limits. We're not
Hmm.
sticking to the speed limits, to all the 30 miles an hour zones. And I was like, yeah, that's cannonballing.
That's Cannibal. I mean, it's a time distance event and you've got to get there. It's not necessarily a race. And that's something to note about the Cannonball here,
Yeah,
the Scooter Cannonball. It's not a race per se. Now, technically, yes, it is a race. You're being timed from gate to gate, but it's based on a given expectation. The road speed, the gate to gate time is expected to be this amount of time. The first one that gets there gets the most points. The second one to get there gets fewer points, but it's also based on how long it took you between those points. So if you go really fast and get there right away, you're outside of that time range and you're penalized for it. So it's a time, speed, distance, endurance rally. That's the way to think about it.
yeah. But the thing is, if you want to cover 400, 450, 500 miles on a
You got to
machine
get
with
up
12
early and you got to keep
horsepower,
pushing. You got
yeah,
to keep pushing.
you
There's no
can't slow
stopping. There's no
down.
dawdling. Adrian and I in 21, when we were on the Cubs, and every time we would stop at a fuel station, which we tried to never do for this
Yeah,
particular reason, is we're on Super Cubs in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, with trailers on the back of them. That's a conversation piece, baby. Everybody wants to
exactly.
stop and talk about that. Oh man, I had one of these when I rode around in Vietnam, and I would love to stop and talk. I would love to socialize. I'm on the clock, buddy. I got to run. I got to run. I got to run.
Yeah,
So we would try to actively not engage with people, get our shit, get back on the road.
yeah.
And it made me feel kind of bad. I'm being antisocial or I'm being kind of a dick, but
That's
uh,
cannonballing.
we got to go. We got to go. Clock's
Yeah.
ticking, baby.
If you need a bio break, a pee break, you just stop
Right.
on the side of the road, go 2 feet next to your scooter, do it in 10 seconds, and then back on and hit the road.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And you try to make multiple purpose stops. So like I was saying earlier, whenever the bike needs a break, you got to refuel the bike. Perfect time to take a leak, refuel the bike, get something to drink, something to eat real quick, get back on the road. You
Yeah.
don't want to be hanging
Stop
around,
on.
and you don't want to chug 2 liters of Gatorade and then have to stop 15 minutes down the road because you got to piss. No, you don't do that, because you're killing your time.
And also, like, when we did this ride on the 1st of May now, also one of the problem was we've left Bucharest, we've been on the road for 45 minutes.
Mhm.
Gotta stop for a smoke break. Let's get some coffee because it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I was like,
Right.
guys, I don't have time for this. Marius was also filming for his own
Right.
YouTube channel. His has
Right.
much
Right.
bigger. He was like, wait, I gotta set up my
He's
cameras.
got
I
a ton
want,
of subscribers, right?
yeah, 500,000.
Oh man, that's a huge channel.
Yeah. And he was like, I gotta set up my cameras. And I was like, Marius, this is what I'm testing on a Cannonball. I can't stop everyone because one of my GoPros has
There's
failed.
no video crew here, and we're not doing photo shoots. We're on the road, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm trying to run like the GoPro without a battery in it, plugged into the Scoot, and
Yeah.
I'll be running my DJI with a cable because I have a USB port right in front of the handlebar, like right on the handlebar, the
Yeah.
OEM USB port. I will plug this into the USB port, so I'll never have to change batteries. They should run basically from morning to
Yeah.
nighttime without changing batteries.
That's what I
This
did
is
with
the
my
stuff you think
360.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did with my 360 in 23. I didn't do it in 21, and in retrospect, it made me mad that I didn't have more footage. Just long run B-roll, whatever. But for 23, I put the 360 camera up on top of the GPS mount, and that was wired into the bike. And I let that thing run all day, most days. So, it's a shit ton of video to go through after the fact, but it gave me all that long run footage that I could use or look back on later to pick up stuff that I missed when I had my chin camera turned off or when that battery was dead. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what you have to test. If you have a
Yeah.
mishap, like if this GoPro on the handlebar freezes, I'm
Yeah.
gonna tend to it 2 hours later down the road
When you
when we
can.
stop.
That's right. That's right. And that's what people I'm not saying this in a derogatory way at all, but people in the user space and the viewer space out there on YouTube and social media, this is not a video production. This is a road trip. This is an adventure. Video production is completely secondary, and whatever we can capture is luck. Some of it's planning, most of it's luck. That's really what it boils down to, because you can't have multiple cameras running 24 hours a day to capture this stuff. And invariably, whatever camera you think is going to be working is going to fuck up, pardon my French, and you'll miss something that you thought you had captured. So whatever we capture is just raw luck.
I'm also happy I have the dual dash cams on the Scoot. Those will
Yeah.
be recording, and I will hopefully I have enough space on all my hard drives. I want to pull the
I'll
footage
have
off of.
offload stuff. So yeah, we'll be able to offload and you can do whatever you need.
I want to download like every single day from the dash cams, just store it, and maybe at some point come back to it, and if I need to. But I want to store
Yeah.
everything from the dash
Store
cams.
everything. I'm going to bring probably 30 terabytes worth of storage with me.
Oh, real good.
So we're going to have plenty of storage. It's not going to be a
I
problem.
have,
Will is saying that's a good idea. What did I have a good idea on, Will?
I think, mounting the cameras.
David, I'll come to you in a sec.
Hold on.
Will's asking how many SD cards. Okay, so that's a complicated question. As far as raw storage, I consumed about 10 terabytes last Cannonball. That was combined between my chin cam, the 360 cam, and the 2 dash cams, or it's one dash cam, but front rear dash cam. So it was roughly 10 terabytes. But where it gets tricky is that's the compressed files. When you take all of that and you transcode it to be able to work with it in Adobe Premiere or whatever, you got to transcode out to ProRes or something like that. So a 10 gig file is 80 gig when you decompress it to work on it. So that my raw 10 gig or 10 terabytes worth of storage ended up being somewhere north of 70 or 80 terabytes when I would decompress and work on it. And I don't have that much raw storage here. So I was doing it in chunks as I could. I've got 45 or 50 terabytes worth of storage in my editing system, and that's a shit ton. it's a shit ton. GoPro 360, gotcha. Yeah. I just left it running on the dash, and probably this year I'm going to have two 360s. Hopefully it'll be the X5, the Insta360 X5. We'll see if they send me one. I might buy one, but it's $550. But I'll put my GoPro up on the front of the bike, and then I'll probably have another 360 on the back of the bike to capture different angles. Now it's 360, but perspectives are different based on whether I'm blocking the frame or not blocking the frame or whatever. So having two of them is a cool idea. Someone's asking if you have tried a Zontes 368.
The 368M is not available here in Romania. All I've tried is a little bit around the yard, the 368G, the adventure one. They're the same engine. Honestly, it's not that big of a difference from my 350, because the 368 engine is just a bigger cylinder and piston than from the 350. Transmission is the same variator.
Okay. Yeah.
Transmission parts are identical. Same variator, same belt, same roller weights. So just an engine that makes an extra 2 horsepower from 37 to 39 horsepower, and that's about it.
Gotcha. Will is saying have the Starlink this trip. Yeah. We'll be streaming on location. If you're along with our entourage, you're welcome to use the data on that. I'm going to set it up for the unlimited plan, $165 a month or whatever it is. I don't think that we'll be streaming in motion so much, but definitely at stops and at the start and end point of each day, we'll be streaming. And then the mobile bandwidth is going to give us the opportunity to be able to load shorts up to the cloud. I'm going to bring at least one good editing station with me. That way Alex can upload shorts. You can upload shorts if you want.
I actually have a laptop capable of editing.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you, but I bought one for 200.
No, you didn't mention.
$200, and I've
$200
decked it out.
Sweet.
It's a Lenovo T480.
Okay.
Here's the camera, but it's basically the highest end the T480 there was, with the 8650U i7, the GeForce MX 150. 16 gigs of RAM, touch screen.
Yeah, you could edit 1080p on that. That would be okay.
One of the latest videos on my channel, I think 2 or 3 videos ago, was fully edited on this thing with telemetry and everything. It chugs when you add color correction and telemetry and everything.
Yeah. Once you start adding in that second video layer, it gets a little chunky.
But I could do it.
That's cool.
Now, I'm not going to edit full videos there. I'm going to wait till I get home so I can do my telemetry and everything. But I am going to try to post every day. Yeah, gaming laptops are also good. Something with a GeForce card.
Any decent video card in there helps with the video compression and all that. You've done video editing, you know the routine. If you don't want to haul it on your bike, we'll be able to haul it in the van for you, and charging and all the kind of stuff we can do in the van. And then I'll have the Starlink for end of the day. We can sit on a little wireless net, whatever there, and upload stuff as we need to.
And also for storage, I got a 4 terabyte external hard drive and 2 more 2 terabytes. So I double it. This is what I used in Turkey. So two 2 terabyte units that were basically identical in data on them. And for this trip, since I had 4 terabytes, I bought another 4 one. So I have 4 and 4 to double it.
Nice. Well, what I'm going to bring is a bunch of M.2 flash storage. So we'll have shit tons of storage. So if yours run out or they're not transferring fast enough or whatever, I'll have plenty. So I'm planning on bringing at least, 30 terabytes of M.2 SSD. So
where do you have some 30 terabytes of SSD from?
I've got a bunch of external 4 terabyte and 8 terabyte external M2s.
8 terabytes external M2.
Oh yeah. There you go. Here's one of them. This was the one from I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it. That's my Quasimotor Scooter Cannonball 2023 360 footage. And the drive inside, focus, damn you, focus.
4
It's a
terabyte
Crucial
crucial.
P3 4 terabyte. So I got a bunch of these, and I've got a handful of 8 terabytes that are coming in. So I just
Do you
keep them
need
on
these for
external.
work?
What's that?
Do you need these from work for work, or do
No,
you get them
that's
from
just
work?
no. This is just this. I buy this stuff. Work doesn't pay for this stuff. My well, let me rephrase. My work, my job pays for this stuff, but it's not company asset. So
Oh,
no, I fund all the fun stuff and the tech for the fun stuff out of my pocket.
dude, an 8 terabyte SSD M.2 is like $1,000.
They ain't cheap, man. I'll tell you that.
At least here it's close to $1,000.
Yeah, does look rugged. You got it right, Jube. Jube, am I saying it right? Jube does look ruggedized. Yeah, it's not really rugged per se. I do have a couple of really rugged ones that I use when I go outback camping and stuff like that. That's different. This one is waterproof. It's, let me find the, yeah, if I get the light to focus on it just right, you might be able to see the name. Anyway, it's a rugged M.2 enclosure, fully rubberized. It's waterproof and all that. And I've got a 4 terabyte SSD in there as well, M.2. I generate a lot of raw video footage, so I've got to have places to store it, and more importantly, to offload it from the little
cameras.
SD cards. Let me get one. So I got a bunch of these. These are actually the ones that went with me last year.
SanDisk Extreme Pro.
Not focusing. It's trying to focus on my face.
I know what they are. SanDisk Extreme Pro.
SanDisk Extreme Pro 1 terabytes. I've got a bunch of these. There you go. And those went with me on the 23 Cannonball, and I would basically switch those out daily. I wasn't filling them up. I was only using about 250 gig, maybe 300 gig a day. But I would offload them every night or every other night. But I was very careful to change cards every single day, because if you're recording on a bad card, you won't know it until that day is done. And that kind of goes back to my point of whatever camera you're depending on, it's going to fuck up, pardon my French. And you don't know that it's bad until you try to offload it the next day or whatever. And you're like, I lost everything. So that's why having a second camera is a good idea.
Wilcer put something down in the comments. His plan is to stitch the videos together every night. Just the raw, not no editing, just raw, stitch them together. And upload them to Google Drive or something. You're not going to have time for Adobe Premiere.
You're not going to have time, buddy. You're not going to have time. Yeah. I thought the same thing, and I'd hoped the same thing. You're going to be knackered. Absolutely.
The most you're going to be able
after
to
like
do.
The third day, you're not going to give a shit. You just want to go to sleep and ride. That's it.
The most you're going to be able to do is open the laptop, plug the card into the SD card reader.
Offload, and that's it.
Plug something like this into a USB. Select all. Copy and paste.
Copy. Yeah.
Go get a beer. Leave it for 30 minutes to offload. It's done. Yeah, good.
Because what's going to happen? Sleep. Yeah, what's going to happen is one of two things, and this is, I fight with this every time I do these long trips. You get stuck between the quandary. This is the biggest hurdle. You get stuck between, do I socialize and enjoy my experience, or do I isolate myself and focus in the video production? If you do the second one, you're missing half the experience. You got to hang out with the people. You got to live the life. You got to enjoy it, because you're giving up on moments in time that don't come back. And if you spend it burning video, doing bullshit that's not important that can be done later, you're going to kick yourself later. Trust me, I know. Because I ran into that a couple times. Like, I was going to go to dinner with all these guys and go have fun. That would have been fantastic. And I could have taken a couple of pictures, and that would have been better than sitting here in front of this fucking computer. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I made the exact plan. I'm not going to edit anything there. I'm just going to record and sit down to edit when I get back home
Yeah.
a month later.
Yeah.
What I
Yeah.
plan to do, it's easier to do, and it helps people like come with us, live streams,
Yes.
easy
Live
live
streams. That's
streams,
it. That's it.
and
And
maybe a short here and there, 2 minute short, because YouTube, I think YouTube now has 3 minute shorts.
yes,
Just a
yes.
short.
So that's the thing is the end of day. And I learned this from, I'm going to be an asshole and I can't remember the name right now. I'll think of his name in a minute. But he was doing that every day at the end of the day in 23. He would have his little nightly recap and he just did a quick live stream or a quick recording and then he would post it. And it was just a short saying what happened today, blah, 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 this, that. And it was just like a little status recap. That you have time to do. That doesn't take long because you're not sitting there editing. And that's another difference between YouTube and Instagram is Instagram makes it super easy to just upload a couple of quick files or upload a quick video or whatever, where YouTube is a little more involved. There's a lot more to the tuning and the video settings and all the stuff. So it's not conducive to doing it on the run, where Instagram is a little easier at that. So.
Yeah. But YouTube has the shorts section, and we can do shorts, vertical videos.
Yeah. Quasi's giving it away for free. A little bit of lessons, hard life on the road. Lessons I've learned. Don't repeat my error if you can avoid it.
Yeah, I also got the question here in Romania, like from somebody face to face, like why don't I do like Itchy Boots does, where she goes on the trip and
Yeah.
she posts every 2 or 3 days. And I told him, Itchy Boots has a budget.
A budget, and she's got video editors. She's not doing it herself.
Exactly. She stops in a hotel every 2 or 3 days. She may camp during the trip,
Yeah.
but every 2 or 3 days she stops in a hotel with good Wi-Fi, and she uploads her footage to the cloud, and then the editor comes in, sitting at home at a desk while she's riding. The editor is editing and posting the videos.
You got it. And again, I was trying to qualify what I was saying a few minutes ago about I don't want to sound like a dick, and I'm not trying to be derogatory, but people out there in viewer space, video consumers on YouTube and that sort of thing. Again, I'm trying to qualify it. I don't want to be a dick. They have a false expectation a lot of times of seeing these professionally produced videos. They want to see movies. They're used to that polished media content. Okay, there's a budget and there's a whole crew behind that published content. This stuff, this is life as it unfolds. Good fucking luck. I mean, it's it's ups, it's downs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And the problem that I've run into is if I get too focused into, okay, I need to carry this camera gear. I need to set up for this shot. I've got this idea in my head of what I want for the content. I've got this, I've got that, I've got this, I've got that. I'm not riding anymore. I'm planning logistics. I'm not enjoying my ride. I'm missing out on the whole experience of why I started sharing the stuff. Yeah. So you got to decide, there's a break point. You've either got to decide in the moment or before you begin the adventure, how much of this do I want to give away as a sharing experience to other people that's going to cost me my enjoyment of this event. So it's a balancing act, and I try to do the best I can. And I'm sure Will and Alex, you've been making videos. Will's been making videos for a long time, so you guys kind of know. But on these long road trips, it's a different set of requirements and expectations. Daily vlogs, that shit's easy. This, a whole different animal. You're on the road, you're isolated. Whatever you brought with you is what you've got. Good luck. If you break something, you're screwed. You're not getting a spare because you're on the road. You're not in one spot the next day.
Yeah.
So
on the trip to Turkey, an interesting part is sometimes, like when you're on a big road trip, one of the main problems sometimes is you're passing through boring land, and you want to turn on the camera because you've been riding for 2 or 3 hours with the camera off, and it's time to update the people. How's the day going? And you just turn on the camera and you're like, so what do I say now?
Yeah. And so many times you'll be zoned out in
when
happening
you get
around
tired
you, or brain dead or fatigued or whatever, and you won't be coherent enough to really string together 3 or 4 sentences in a shot, let alone a vlog. I mean, what we're doing here, and most of my content is stream of consciousness. You do the same
Yeah.
kind of vlogging I do.
No,
It's
I've
stream
never
of
had a
consciousness.
script.
It's what's happening. I don't have a script. It's just, here you go. Here's life, and oh shit, I'm watching out for this guy trying to run me over. So it's a different format than most polished video out there. And when you see channels like Itchy Boots, or the thing that made cross-country adventuring so popular, the long way up, long way down, long way around, you see 2 guys out there in the desert on the motorcycles and doing this stuff going cross-country. What you don't see is the entourage of vehicles behind them, the video crew, the mechanics, the support trucks. You don't see all that stuff. So
Yeah.
you've got to think about what it's like to be behind the lens. That's where things are really happening.
In long way, the guys that did long way around and long way down and long way up,
Mhm.
Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor, I loved about the series, they didn't hide it.
Yeah, they didn't
So
hide it,
they were
but you still
transparent.
get
They
lost in
had
the moment and you
Claudio.
forget that it's there.
Yeah,
So,
but the crew appeared in many of the shots, in many of the episodes. The crew also appeared, at least in Long Way Round, the first one. You clearly knew they had a doctor, they had a mechanic, they had 2
yeah,
producers,
yeah, yeah.
cameramen. They also had a cameraman on a motorcycle with them, Claudio.
Yes, Claudio, that's right. And do
So
you
they had
remember
3
when
bikes
their
and
big
2
bikes
cars.
failed? Yeah, and he ended up riding some little Russian piece of
Yeah,
shit 250, and it made it, and the other ones didn't.
yep.
That was fantastic. It was amazing.
That little Russian bike is more adapted to
That's right. It's tougher.
Mongolia
You got
than a
it.
big
You got it.
GS. Not necessarily tougher. They were going into bog pits. In bog
Yeah.
pits, when you put a 500-pound motorcycle in it, it sinks to the bottom.
Those big bikes break shit all the time. They're heavy. You've got more kinetic energy when that thing goes down. You got more mass. So when they go down, they're going to break stuff. You're going to break subframes. You're
Yeah.
going to break handlebars. You're going to break all kinds of stuff. Smaller, lighter bikes don't carry as much mass. So when they go down, they'll bend stuff instead of breaking it, and they're just
Yeah.
more durable. So yeah.
Plus, when you get them in mud, they just hop on the top of the mud and go out the other side.
Instead of going,
They don't get stuck in mud.
Yeah, Nathan was saying content's in raw form. Yeah, Nathan, I'll be doing my raw videos of this Cannonball probably right after we get back. There's still, raw is kind of a misnomer because there's still a lot of video production that goes into it, but I don't have to do all the editing for content and bleeping out my F-bombs and everything else. I basically just set the timeline. I'll build my telemetry overlays that I put over the top of it, and basic, intro, outro kind of stuff, and that's it. And then I'll encode that and upload that to the raw channel. So those will probably happen pretty much right after the Cannonball. The more polished episodic series, I'll try to condense a couple days at a time or something like that and put those out. And they might be, 2 or 3 months after Cannonball, who knows, whenever time permits.
Yeah. My plan is to do 1 video per day. Like for each day of traveling, 1 video.
Oh yeah,
And
but not producing it one day after another. That's impossible.
Oh, no,
Trust
no,
me.
no, 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 no,
Oh, shit. I've spent
the
weeks in one episode before. Yeah,
I
Dr.
get
Dredd is
through
saying,
them pretty
"Damn,
quickly.
what's that? Sorry.
So I get through them pretty quickly. Usually, if I have like 3 hours of footage, it's gonna take me triple in hours to get through it. So 3 hours of footage makes about an hour and a half of video, and it takes me about 9 hours to go through it. Now,
Oh,
I still have a
you're doing
job.
good, man. If you're on a 3-to-1, you're good. Mine are generally 10-to-1 or worse because there's so much. It's such long format, and I've got multiple cameras, so there's a lot of syncing and rewatching and all that. So basically, let's say I've got 10 hours of footage. I'm at minimum watching that footage once just to go through it and scrub the timeline and figure out what's usable. Then you've got the editing and chopping and condensing, making it smaller, getting rid of all the stuff, for time constraints and whatnot. So I end up going through that 10-hour stretch 6, 8 times. We're looking at 80 hours worth of watch and edit, 10 hours of raw footage. So, and then the output is a 30-minute video. So it's bad. It's like 16-to-1. So yeah.
No, I just go through it. If I have multiple cameras, then I set up the timeline with all the files
Yeah.
and synced and everything. And then I
Yeah.
start at one point and I start cutting. And I cut and I cut and I cut and I cut. And when I get to the end, it's all cut. It's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I just put in the outro and the intro, and
Right. Yeah.
they're not polished. They're not at all polished. This DJI records in 10-bit color. I do have a lookup table, a lot I can from DJI to apply to it,
Uh-huh.
but you can mess around with it. You can play with it to get
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
shot.
And you get into the whole color grading thing, and it gets
Yeah.
sticky. It
All
gets
I
very
do is
sticky.
apply the LUT, and if it's very sunny
Yeah.
outside, I just one slider, I just pull it back a little. That's it.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me. I'm done. Next, move on.
Yeah. On the
So yeah,
GoPros, I have the camera set to give me a pretty decent color output anyway. I don't do the flat profile because there's too much grading I have to do in post. But generally, I'll just apply the auto color in
yeah,
the chroma panel, and it gets it pretty close. And then I'll make a little adjustment, and then I copy that preset across the rest of them from that
exactly.
series. Yeah, but then when it changes, to a different time of the day or something, I'll go through that process and reset it again. But everything of a given string, I'll leave alone. David is asking, how often do we need to plug a front tire from a puncture? Almost never. It's almost never your front tire that takes a hit. It's
always the
almost
back one.
always the rear, because what happens is you got a nail or something sharp that's laying on the road. It's laying flat. So the front tire rolls over it and kicks it up, and then it goes into the rear tire. So the rear tire eats it. It's the one that always ends up flat. I've had 4 flats on a front tire in my entire riding career of over 2.5 million miles. And 2 of those were blowouts because I hit like angle iron or something like that. And that's going to take out one, if not both of your tires if you hit it just wrong. So yeah, but front tire punctures are pretty much never an issue.
Non-existent. And about fixing tires on the side of the road, if you have a tubeless tire, put as many plugs in it as you need to.
Yeah.
Rebuild the entire tire out of plugs. It will last.
One big gumball of tire rope.
Trust me, here doing courier work, we used to fix like blades that went into tires. There would be like 2, 3, or 4 inches of it actually cut. Just put plug after plug after plug after. The guy would
as long as it doesn't. If you're running a radial and it cuts the cords, then you're screwed. You can't really fix that. Or if it's sidewall, you're screwed. So
it's almost never sidewall. It's hard to get a nail in the sidewall. Actually,
angle iron or hitting an object on the road is about the only thing that's going to get your sidewalls. Will is saying no editing, just shorts, all long form videos are raw. Yeah. So you're kind of along the same lines of what we're talking about, Will. We'll throw the
video
stuff up
production.
there. Yeah. Now, if you need to use my Starlink on the trip, you're welcome to. What we'll do, I'm going to have a PC, I can't go get it right now, but I've got a couple of little mini PCs that will be hooked up, and they'll be running pretty much 24/7 that I can use for streaming on the road or uploading, synchronizing content. So if you want to synchronize stuff while we're on the road, you can upload all the FAT files, after you've done the compression and all that, send it up to storage and use my Starlink for that, because it'll work in motion while we're rolling.
It works, Starlink in motion?
It works in motion, yeah. Up to, I think, about 20 megabits worth of data in motion.
Wouldn't it be fun? Is your son with the car gonna be following us or going ahead of us?
A little of both. The plan is he'll follow kind of somewhat close to our route, but anywhere that it's going to be off-road or whatever, he'll probably just take the highways and go to the next major checkpoint and wait for us. So he won't be too far away.
Mount a camera on the front and live stream that camera.
Yeah. That's kind of my plan. And if I hadn't been set back by some a-hole rear-ending me on the highway, I'd be even further down my.
Hey, the front end is still good. The front end. Now we can take it on the Cannonball.
It's missing the entire gate. Did I show you the pictures yet?
Only the rear.
I've got 73 people in here. I can show it. I can't talk about it too much because there might be a lawsuit involved, but I can show pictures. Let me pull it up. Brand new Honda Odyssey minivan, 25 elite model, $57,000 friggin' dollars, and it had like 200 miles on it. Some jackhole from Mississippi, an out-of-towner, speeding, driving like a tool, weaving through traffic, cutting 3 lanes across, trying to shove it in right behind me while I'm slowing down for other traffic that's doing similarly stupid shit. And he center punches the back of my van at 70 miles an hour.
What car did he have? Or was it a truck? From the
He
hip,
was in a Chevy Avalanche, and the add to insult to insult to injury, almost 0 damage on his front bumper. He's jacked up, so his bumper went over my bumper right into the tailgate.
I saw that from the pictures. Like the rear bumper is almost intact, but the tailgate is completely pushed in.
Oh my God, it's just so shoved in. Let me see if I can get it full screen, and I'll add it to the stream here. I'll present, if I can figure out how to present. Where is it?
I also don't understand how your insurance works, because I frequently hear after an accident there might be a lawsuit. Here, it's clear cut. He ran into the back of you. He's at fault.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done.
But this guy's out of state, and he probably doesn't have insurance and all that.
Really? He does. Also, you're gonna cover it on your insurance.
Welcome to my headache. And I literally, quite literally, have a headache. I need to take some more ibuprofen. My neck is so stiff. I'm sitting. You guys can't see my side profile, but I'm sitting at a very strange angle, so I can take the pressure off of my neck and my lower back. Let me get to the next slide.
When I saw the picture, if you look, the rear bumper is almost intact. There's no scuff marks where the parking sensors are. So when I saw this,
he went totally over.
Lifted,
he went totally over the rear bumper. He skinned off the rear skid plate of the bumper there and shoved the whole tailgate in over 2 feet. And I was picking glass out of my hair for like the next 2 hours. But the roof line, I don't know if you can see up near the top, the roof line is a little bit buckled.
Yeah, but the front is the front end good?
Yeah, there's no damage to the front. So it's the whole rear end. But the problem is, I don't know if you guys are seeing my pointer, but down here on the bottom, this is the rear pan below the Odyssey logo and all that. That's the rear pan. That's sheet metal in the rest of the unibody that's all wrinkled up. So I think this thing's total. They're going to have to cut the back of it out.
Yeah, right. Until they cut the back of it out, now that it's no longer a brand new vehicle and impeccable, we just duct tape the rear end,
put plastic over the rear window, and
cannonball the rear window and everything, and we got ourselves a cannonball vehicle.
God, I'm so annoyed. And I sent you the pictures. Here's the glass from. Are you guys seeing this? I don't know if the screen is changing.
Your car on
that's my rear window glass all over the hood of his car after he fled the scene and went 2 miles down the road, or 1.5 miles.
He actually fled the scene, right?
Yeah.
So the police,
and that's all the damage. That's all the damage to the front of his vehicle. It screwed up his bumper and the little air dam at the bottom, and put some scratches and split his bumper cover. That's all the damage that thing took.
Would be a shame.
So annoyed. Whoops, sorry, I'm not supposed to be showing that. Yeah.
At
so
least
anyway,
he stopped on purpose, or did somebody else stop him?
No, he stopped after he saw me following him.
Oh, so you basically drove like this?
Oh yeah, I drove like that for 2 miles to keep following him. I was on the phone with 911 dispatch saying, I just got involved in a hit and run with injury. This guy just blasted the back of my car at 70 miles an hour and fled the scene. Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Brand new vehicle. I gotta find my.
When people have accidents, there can't you just normal people have accidents? Like here, sometimes we have accidents. No, we stop, we talk, we exchange insurance.
No, and this guy didn't want to. This guy didn't want to give me his information. He was combative and threatening violence, even though it was his fault. So it had 259 miles on it. Yeah. I had just filled up the tank.
I don't understand how that works there. If here somebody is like this combative, you call the police. Police comes.
Yeah.
Like we have
Well, yeah,
here.
no, the police were called, but they take so long to get to an accident scene here in Houston. We sat there for almost an hour. The police never showed up. The fire department emergency rescue came after about
Never
10 minutes.
showed up.
They never showed up until after I was transported away from the scene in an ambulance for evaluation. They did CT scans of my head, my neck. They said nothing's broken or fractured. I've just got a lot of swelling from whiplash. So, yeah. But the
Seriously.
cops showed up at the hospital an hour later, after I'd already been to the hospital. So 2 hours after the incident. Crazy. That's Houston, man. Anyway.
Yeah, here it's a little bit, I don't know, normal, I would say. Like if you get into an accident, you have two options. If you both agree which one is at fault, you can make something called a mutual agreement.
Yeah, you just
Where
exchange information, whatever an
you
insurance
just
should take
exchange
care of.
information, you're okay. And even though getting into a crash or causing a crash is a license losing offense, if there are no victims, you can get into this mutual agreement and nobody loses their license.
Yeah.
If you two cannot decide who's at fault, you call the police. The police come to the scene, take a couple of pictures, take both of your information. Then they tell you you have 24 hours to go to a police station and declare it. You can each go separately. You go to the police station, you declare what your version is, and they decide who's at fault. And the person who's at fault gets suspended for 3 months.
Yep.
So it's kind of, you better decide. Sometimes people go together to the police station and the officer will tell them. So he gives them both sides. He gets both sides of the story, and the officer usually tells them, so you're at fault.
Yes.
If you
Now
still
that
don't
usually happens.
agree,
Right. That usually happens at the scene here.
yeah,
So if the police manage to arrive before somebody flees the scene, then the police will look at the incident and they assign someone at fault, and usually a traffic citation for, failure to control speed or tailgating or,
yeah.
whatever the infraction is. So not only are they listed at fault for the accident, but then they get a traffic citation of some kind.
Yeah.
This guy did not want to stick around. He did everything he could to not give me his information and was trying to flee from the first moment. So that tells me he probably had warrants out for his arrest or one thing or another. He was from out of town, so I had no idea. But anyway, it
At
just,
least
yeah,
you got
the
his
whole thing
info.
stinks to high hell.
Hopefully, you got all of his info. And in
Yeah,
stuff
I got
like
the
this,
info.
do you get your money back from your insurance, and then your insurance goes after him, or
It
do you
depends.
personally have to go after him?
It's all handled through the insurance, but it takes time, unfortunately. So what ends up happening is if it's with the same company, like I'm insured through a company called Geico. So if it's Geico and the other person is also Geico, then it's just handled in-house right there. They try to wrap up the property claim as quickly as possible, and then they'll either slow roll you or never pay you for injuries or medical bills. So you've got to hire an attorney to go after them for that. If it's another insurance company, then your insurance company sues that other insurance company, and you got to wait forever to get your property settlement. A lot of times it can take 6 months or whatever. So basically, my money is tied up in this, and I won't be able to get another new vehicle right now because I just put almost $40,000 down on this thing to have zero payments or very low payments, and now all my cash is tied up in this. Like, damn it. Anyway.
Yeah. I
So,
think the worst of
Glenn,
this
answering your
side of it.
question, yeah, this is 3 years. This is every time a rear end accident by a speeding, raging cager in Houston on highways. Yep, you gotta love Houston highways, man. And these are all unavoidable from my perspective. It's not something I can defend against because it's not something in front of me that I can get away from. It's always somebody hitting me from behind at a high rate of speed from a blind spot. Like, how can you defend against that? Aye.
Yeah.
So anyway, here I
Yep,
am with
Jim.
whiplash, trying to make light of it on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, good stuff.
So when is the car gonna be evaluated if it's a total loss or
I don't
not?
know yet. It's sitting in a salvage yard. I got a cool video. I can show you guys the video. There's 67 of us in here. People with
So
morbid curiosities here.
so you have to leave it in a salvage yard?
It's
Can't you
there
drive
for
it around?
now. It's in a storage yard.
Ah,
I could go get it back, but if I do, then I've got to pay the storage or impound fees. Plus, then I've got to coordinate with the insurance company to come view it and do their, their damage estimates wherever it might be sitting. So it's just easier to leave it there for now. I can pull up my video link. Wouldn't that be fun? I don't have a dash cam. God, I wish I had a dash cam. I ordered a dash cam. It just hasn't shown up. It's supposed to be here today. And all of my stuff, I've got like all these boxes. I've got WeatherTech floor mats and hood protector and all this stuff that's arriving today. It's downstairs right now. And I'm just, I don't even have the car, man. So
I think you know what I know what you're replacing your Odyssey with.
it's
Another
going to be another
identical
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah, it's going to be another Odyssey because I've already got all the parts. $2,000 worth of add-ons. So definitely going to be the same.
What if by the time you get your payout and you can get another one, they update the model?
Oh, they won't. It's not that fast. But I will still get another 25. That way, all the stuff that I get fits this one. Luckily, this one they've had the same body style and the same, rough layout of everything since 2018. So it's a 7-year run. So it's had a minor refresh on the outside, but the inside
run, it's due for a new model.
It's due for a new model.
But
I'll find a little video. Anyway, we can talk
if a
about
new model comes out, it's going to be an interesting talk in the dealership. Hey, we got a brand new model. No, do you have the old one?
Right. No, I want the old one. I want an old stock at a discount, please.
Yeah, because I have a couple of boxes of accessories that I never managed to put on.
That's exactly it.
And I want to put them on.
Where's the media source? Yeah, media source.
Hold on for 30 seconds. I'm going to get another beer.
Go ahead. Trying to find the video. I don't have a dash cam, but I created a GPS playback from my brand new Land Air Sea GPS tracker that was plugged into the ODB2 port. Would have been nice to have a dash cam to go with it, but
hold on.
These are the trackers that I was planning to use.
The sound that all men love.
There we go. I don't know if that's showing up on screen. Let me see.
It's showing up. Not full screen.
Yeah, I can't figure out how to get it full screen. It's not a full screen file, so.
Yeah. So this was recorded on the car?
This is recreation from telemetry submitted by the tracker.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
So right in here, when it gets down to that big clover leaf, I'm heading right. It shows my speed there, like 48 miles an hour, and it was right there. The guy rear-ended me. He was trying to come over from the lanes to my left, which would be right on this screen.
Yeah.
And just center punched the back of the van at plus 30. And then he immediately backed up and left the scene. And I was right on his tail. And he exited the highway and then kept going for, a mile and stopped. Yeah. So anyway.
Sucks. One of my subscribers also asks, he asked in Romania, so I'm going to try to translate. Does your penal code have any kind of punishment for him, penal punishments, not just regular citations, for in case you have an accident with victims where you have bodily injuries?
Yes, it's a felony. If you have a hit and run accident where they leave the scene of an injury accident, it is a felony to flee the scene. So there are criminal punishments for that. They can range anywhere from 18 months to several years in jail. But unfortunately, the how shall we call it, very lenient legal system here in the United States, especially in the liberal cities. Houston is a liberal city, Democrat run. They're generally let off with just a slap on the wrist. There's very little punishment for these kind of things. They have to go through the process, which is the punishment, going to court, paying for attorneys and all that, but they generally don't spend any real jail time.
That sucks. Here it's pretty rough. If you leave the scene of an, is there echo?
I didn't hear it.
I heard a bit of echo. I don't know. So here it's pretty rough. If you leave the scene of an accident with a victim, there's no getting away from prosecution. You are going to go face a judge.
It used to be that way here, but it's gotten much more lenient and not in a good way.
That leniency, it's weird. I see over there. Here you have no kinds of leniency. I mean, if a police officer starts what we call a penal file, that would be what
last
you said, a felony.
Last Wednesday, 4 days ago.
3
days ago. 3 days.
Yeah, if a police officer starts a penal file on you, or basically a felony charge, it's going to a judge.
Yeah,
there's no way around it. Even if you admit to everything, you pay everyone, it's still gonna go to a judge. A judge is the only one who can let you off the hook.
Yeah. And that's really how it should be. I mean, the law should be cut and dried. This is what the process is. This is the punishment. And only a judge or a jury could allow, one way or the other. But often, especially here in Houston, it's the prosecuting attorneys that decide whether they're going to push for something or not. And more often than not, they just say, let them go. So, because they don't think they can get a conviction, or they don't think they can get enough money out of it, or whatever it is. But that's kind of how it is.
An interesting thing. I know that in your place, prosecution can drop charges. Here, there's no police don't have that option. They cannot drop charges.
Right.
They go,
and that's how it should be. That's how it's supposed to be here.
Yeah. They go through the process, and if their lawsuit was badly made or it wasn't really a felony, the judge decides that, and the judge has the power to give an annulment for the felony and just issue a citation.
Right.
But everything is at the judge level, and we don't have like a jury style of lawsuits with jury. It's just a judge who is more than capable, and he decides after listening to, and you can go to, I think, 2 levels of trial. If you're not happy with the way one judge gave the answer, I don't know how to say it.
The verdict.
Yeah. If you're not happy how one judge gave the verdict, you can ask for a retrial and have it all retrialed again.
Interesting.
And the decision is only final after the retrial.
Interesting.
So
you get 2 stages, and that's final.
You can actually.
We have a similar system here with the appeals courts, and then usually the appellate court decision is final after that, unless it goes to the state or federal Supreme Court, which can override appellate courts. So,
it's interesting. Sometimes, if you win a lawsuit, your attorney will tell you to appeal. So you can have the second one and have the final decision that cannot be attacked again.
Oh, that can't be overturned. That's smart. Yeah, that's actually smart. But it would work against you if the next court said, no, now you're guilty. Like, oh shit, should have stayed where I was.
But it can be attacked. Like for the decision that you received, even if it's in your favor, if you want it to not be able to be overturned, you appeal and you go to a second one, lock it in.
Yeah. Well, for example, what happened with that motorcycle wreck that I had in October of 23, it was road rage. And I can talk about it now because it's all settled out and it's done. It was road rage. The guy intentionally hit me. He was angry that he got stopped by slow traffic and my lane kept going. And he almost changed lanes over into me as I was passing by him. So I hit the horn to let him know I was there. And that made him mad and he laid into his horn. He was angry. So I just kept going. You know, traffic was moving 40 or 50 miles an hour and I was staying with the flow of traffic that I was behind. And he chased me down almost a quarter mile down the road and intentionally hit me at 80 miles an hour. It was an intentional road rage hit. And the discovery documents that came out after it was dismissed, which that's the latter part of the conversation. I only found this out after it was dismissed. He was driving drunk. They listed that he had driving while intoxicated and some other issues. He had an open warrant and some other stuff apparently, and they originally got him for second-degree attempted murder, attempted vehicular manslaughter, a bunch of other stuff like that. But the case went on for 12 months or something like that, and it changed hands from district attorney to district attorney to district attorney. And they decided that they didn't have enough evidence to get a conviction, so they were just going to dismiss it, and they let him go scot-free, paid nothing.
So he got off scot-free.
His insurance paid, and that was it. So for criminal mischief and attempted murder, he got away with it scot-free. Crazy. And I didn't find out about the driving while intoxicated until after, and I saw all the discovery documents that were given to the prosecution and the defense and all that. And I saw that and I was looking through that and I was like, this guy was driving drunk, intentionally tried to kill me, and he's getting away with it? It just, what? There's no justice anymore. That's just stupid. Crazy.
And people say here in Romania, the justice system is broken and it's unfair.
Well, it's always
here. Nobody walks away with stuff like this.
Yeah, Eric's got it right. Democrat cities, high in crime, low in justice. You got it. That's how they all run. Every single one across the country. It doesn't matter where you are. And even though Texas is a predominantly Republican state, if you look at every one of the big cities, they're all Democrat, every single one of them. Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, they're all Democrat. And they have been for like 30 years. And that's why everything's going downhill. There's no punishment for crime. So people do whatever they want and keep doing it. And they know that the worst that's going to happen is they get a slap on the wrist. They might have to spend a night in jail, mess around with the lawyers for a little while, lose a few dollars, but then they go right back out and they do the same shit over and over again because there's no real punishment. There's no stopping it. So.
That's sad. I'm gonna have to be careful around there. I do have insurance.
Well, we'll get out of the Houston traffic rush, out of the big cities, and everything gets better.
You know, I'm gonna have to ride from the airport to your house.
And I'll come and chaperone you for that. I'll chaperone you. So you.
I think I can handle traffic on my. It depends what your schedule is on the 9th.
Don't. No, I'll take the day off and I'll bring you down to where I am. Because if you follow the GPS suggested routes and all that, you're going to be stuck in the middle of the crap, and it's not going to be a good idea.
You can
lead you through the areas and keep you away from most of the trouble. My last incident notwithstanding, I usually stay out of harm's way, and there's paths to take to not be stuck in the stuff. So. Because we can't split lanes here, remember, there's no getting away from it, at least not legally. And if you go around cagers here, you better have a clear path well beyond them because they will intentionally try to chase you and wreck you for passing them. That's how aggressive they are.
Well, I don't know if they know how Eastern Europeans filter.
Yeah.
You've seen my videos.
Oh, yeah. No, and I filter like that. I just don't do it on camera most times because people are going to go, oh, you're illegal. Hey, I'm forward of the problem, and I don't have to worry about that guy running me over. So that's all that matters.
Here I'm used to just blasting 30 miles an hour plus.
Right. Yeah, here you'll have to take it really easy.
From the mirror.
Yeah, the fastest overtake you want to do here, just for safety's sake, is probably about 15 or 20 miles an hour faster than the flow of traffic, just because people make so many rapid lane changes here without looking. They're not attentive, and they don't mind their lanes. So you got to be careful here. You'll end up wearing somebody's car.
I'm kind of used to that because here, at least in Bucharest, sometimes you have no idea where the lanes are.
Yeah.
A boulevard can go from 4 lanes to 2 to 3 to 1 to
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you kind
A
of
lot of that
ride.
happens here too. We're fairly well labeled as far as our lanes and stuff here, but yeah, construction zones, they get sketchy.
Yeah.
Glenn is asking, what airport are you headed into? You'll probably be coming into Houston
George Bush.
International. George Bush, yeah.
Houston Intercontinental, it's
Yeah,
called. As I saw.
IAH is the airport code, yeah.
I'll be arriving at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'm gonna have to go to some warehouse next to the airport to pick up.
Yeah, the shipping port. Yeah. Zhang Lang is saying, so much for your wish to ride. No, he is going to be riding from the airport to my house, but I'm going to chauffeur him through town because I know the areas to stay away from.
We're not trucking, so I'm dropping him in London in 2 weeks' time. I'm dropping him in London, and then fly back, fly out, and I'm riding out of Houston, out of the airport. I'm riding. I'm not putting him on a truck, and no, he's going from Bucharest to Houston on wheels.
Yeah. So yeah, Sonics is saying lane filtered in the city once ran into a car door that just opened, broken finger. Yeah. Here in Houston, people will intentionally open their car doors to try to wreck you or swerve into your path if you're filtering between cars. That's how bad they are here. I've been chased and had guns pulled on me because I went around people on the shoulder when traffic was completely stopped, and then they chased me down a mile later and pulled guns on me. It's insane. It's really, really crazy.
The crazy
Of course,
part is over
that
there.
doesn't end well when they see that I'm armed as well, and they don't want to play that game. But yeah,
the crazy part is you have guns over there.
everybody's got guns.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here nobody has guns. So if you want to follow somebody and pull them over because you thought they wronged you with something, you better be ready to fight with fists.
Exactly. Yeah. You better be able to handle yourself. And I mean, it happens all over the world, and let's say countries that aren't self-armed, Russia, all over the place. You see all these videos, people getting out with bats or clubs or machetes, whatever. I mean, weapons are weapons. So, yeah.
I think all of you guys over there having weapons gives you a false sense of superiority. So I'm going to hunt this guy down because I have a pistol with me.
Yeah. It does in a lot of cases, unfortunately. It allows hotheads to do things that they wouldn't do without that force amplifier. Let's put it that way. And I'm ex law enforcement, and I've been trained, so I've got a very different perspective on things.
Yeah.
So
here, I think we're more kept up in bay because 99% of us don't have guns with us.
Right.
So if I'm gonna follow somebody and try to pull them over, I better be ready to get my ass kicked because maybe out of that car,
you better know how to fight. Yeah, that's right.
Maybe
you
out
better
of
know
that
how to
car,
fight. And those people that know how to fight are not going to be the ones doing that.
Yeah.
No, and
most of us don't know
what
how
it
to
usually
fight.
boils down to is those who know how to fight are prepared for the fight, but they're not going and looking for it. The people that don't know how to fight, the hotheads, those are the ones that are instigating the problems almost every single time. Anywho, we have anything else we want to talk about on the route?
Well, on the route, not really. On the details, when I get there, it's pretty simple. I land on the 9th at about 1 p.m. Hopefully, I get through customs. Because apparently I was told, even though I have a visa, when I land there, I may get arrested.
Arrested? No, you won't be arrested, but they may take you for questioning, which is a pretty normal thing. They will oftentimes pull people aside at the immigration or the customs side of things, and they'll just ask, what do you have with you? They want to know if you're bringing things in. So if you're bringing laptops and cameras and stuff like that, personal electronics and whatnot, just tell them you're on vacation because you are. They want to make sure that
have
you aren't bringing
laptop and
stuff in to
cameras
sell it or trade it or whatever. So,
I'll have all of my gear with me, so I'm not gonna leave my laptop and hard drives and everything and cameras on
Right.
the scooter to get shipped.
No,
I'm gonna
no.
I'm
No.
gonna have them on
You put
luggage.
that in your baggage. I don't know if it would be a good idea to take it in your carry-on. If you
It's coming
can,
me on the carry-on.
yeah,
I
take it in your
like
carry-on.
if I
If you put it
lose
in
this,
your
I have to buy another one, and that's
right. If you
20% of
put
my
it in your
budget.
checked luggage, it could potentially get stolen out of your luggage by TSA. That stuff happens
No,
all the
no, no.
time.
It's coming with me on the
People
plane,
people put
like on my
valuables in their
back.
checked bags, yeah, and it ends up gone. So
I think on the way to you, I'll only have a backpack,
okay.
and I'll see if I buy memorabilia or something. I probably can find like a troller in Walmart for cheap.
Kevin is saying, need to watch the show to catch a smuggler for some better ideas.
Hmm, I haven't heard of that show. Actually, haven't heard of that show.
Zhang Lang is saying some have guns here even legally, but if you pull the gun, you'd be subject to police investigation, of course. And the same
Yeah,
thing happens here. We have the right to bear arms here, guaranteed by our Constitution, but not guaranteed by our local law enforcement, which thinks that we should not have guns. So it's always a bit of a back and forth. And if you ever brandish a firearm, which means pull it out and display it, especially in a threatening manner, then you are subject to police investigation. You can be arrested, they can confiscate your weapon, et cetera, et cetera. The only quote unquote open and close or cut and dried case of using a weapon here in the United States is in self-defense. Someone is actively attacking or shooting you or your family, and you return fire in self-defense. That's open and shut. Generally, there's no arrest, there's no confiscation of firearms, anything like that. That will get turned over to a grand jury, and a grand jury will decide whether there's reason to prosecute you for, shooting or injuring or killing someone else in self-defense.
yeah. Just stay out of Houston, you'll be fine. It's kind of difficult to stay out of Houston
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
live in Houston.
yeah. We're going to be getting out of Houston as quickly as possible, I think.
Yeah. I don't think on the 10th, I don't think I will have anything to do. Maybe just go to
Yeah.
Walmart and grab a couple of supplies, and then that's it.
Yeah, we'll get the consumables and stuff and all that.
I will need to do one oil change when I get there because I'll have basically the
I'm
trip
going to
from
get your
Bucharest.
oil for you. Yeah, you sent me the oil. I'll get that probably next week.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
will have to do just one oil change, but that takes me like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And that's
those
it.
are quick.
Some brake
Yeah,
clean. We're
Tannis
gonna
is
need
saying
some
anything
brake
with
clean.
batteries. It's got to go and carry on. Isaac, buddy, just got arrested for pointing a gun self-defense. Yeah, well, obviously there are differences, and I won't go into the legal statutes because I'm rusty on those after being out of law enforcement for so long, and I'm sure things have changed. But essentially, if you point a weapon and you don't use it, that is brandishing and malicious intent, even if it's in self-defense. So things change when you actually discharge the firearm because there was a real threat. So it becomes a difference of action versus intent. So
So if someone attacks you with a baseball bat and you pull a gun, but you don't
it's
shoot him,
lethal force. No, lethal force. Equal and opposing. There's supposed to be the doctrine of reasonable force to counteract a threat. Meaning, if someone comes at you in a fist fight, you can't
pull a gun.
necessarily pull out a gun and shoot them. There's other stuff involved there, like physical size differences and stuff like that. Technically, there's a 50-pound limit. So if somebody outweighs you by 50 pounds, then you can use lethal force to defend your life, which I can kind of understand in some cases. But
You know what I just imagined?
I can take somebody out hand to hand that weighs well better than 50 pounds over my weight. That's just, there's differences there. Anyway, if somebody comes at you with any type of blunt force instrument or a knife, that's a lethal instrument, and you can use lethal force in return. Period.
So what I just imagined right now, as you said, the 50-pound limit, is you said you're a bit shorter than me. You on the street, some dude like one of those big, muscular, going to the gym kind of dude,
Mm-hmm.
getting into an argument with him, and just you ask
Mm-hmm.
him, wait, how much do you weigh? He has like
Yeah,
300 pounds. Oh, perfect.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
it's
Weight
it's on the
limit.
books. It's on the books. I think it's nationwide, but I know it's in most of the southern states that if someone outweighs you by 50 pounds, or there's even a height difference. I think if someone is more than 6 inches or 12 inches taller than you or something like that. I mean, it's a weird statute, but definitely the 50-pound thing is on the books.
So it's something, it's like you're allowed to fight each
Yeah,
other
Tim is
just
saying
as
the
long as
21
it's
foot rule.
fair.
You got that shit right. That's real, by the way, Tim.
21
21
foot
foot
rule.
rule is if someone is within 21 feet of you, they are a lethal threat, specifically if they've got a weapon or a blunt instrument like a bat or something like that. Because by the time you could deholster your weapon and bring it to bear, they can close that 21 feet and you're already done, especially with a knife. And knives are particularly dangerous for law enforcement because they go through Kevlar, they go through bulletproof vests.
Wow. You have so many laws about beating each other up.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. And close that gap. You got it. That's another story for another day. But yeah, I've been in that situation before, and I've had to fire a weapon in
In your
defense of my
defense.
life. A lot of people never get there. They never have that situation in their life, so they don't know if they can pull the trigger or not. I'm one of the people that have. So
Well, I'm
and then
traveling with
pretty boy
somebody
bodybuilders
who
don't know how
knows.
to fight. The problem is not knowing how to. It doesn't matter if they know how to fight. If they get a hold of you, they can wrangle you and suffocate you or strangle you out. You don't let them get a hold of you.
Well, it's getting pretty late here, 10:30.
Yeah, I'll bet you're probably midnight there almost.
An hour and 40 minutes to midnight, but I don't
Gotcha.
know where the girls are. They're moving somewhere around the house. The young one
All
has
right.
been surprisingly absent. She's starting
Well, do
to
we have
grow and
any
starting to
last
understand.
few
Yeah, last 10
questions
minutes. Come on.
for
Last 5 minutes, 10
Alex
minutes.
for anyone on the stream here?
And I don't know
Anybody
if
with
you've
a last
received
bit
the
of
mail,
question?
an email from the winner of the giveaway. I haven't.
Trying to figure out how to transform. This thing got dragged out of the place and I didn't get it. Fit to screen. Control F. There we go. All right. What part of the ride are you planning to use these fighting tactics?
Oh, whole ride.
First rule of tactics is don't give away your tactics.
Yeah. I come from Eastern Europe. You guys have no idea what my tactics are.
That's right. He's a crazy gypsy, man.
Oh, yeah. If I get into, I don't know, some road rage or some driver and he just stops me and gets out of the car and starts screaming in American, I just go, very nice, great
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
I am from
Exactly.
Kazakhstan.
Exactly.
I show him the license plate. He's not gonna know what RO means. It's from Romania. I'm just gonna say Kazakhstan.
Is Alex going to wear a tracksuit for the whole ride? No, you got
Oh
proper riding
yeah.
gear.
You saw my trip to Turkey, right?
Yes.
Uh, you see this riding gear, protective gear.
Yeah. You're going to want
I,
something covering your arms, I'll tell you. In the heat and the sun here, riding jackets are more for protecting you from sunburn and sun exhaustion than they are
I
from.
will bring my jacket with me,
Yeah.
but I
Do
may
you have a
not
good
wear
mesh
it
jacket?
every day.
Yeah. Do you have a mesh jacket?
It's the Alpine Stars Halo one, and I
Halo.
take
I'll have
off
to
the
look at it.
sleeves, and it's full mesh, and it has a full mesh
It's
chest.
mesh. Okay. Yeah. As long as it's textile mesh, you'll be good. Yeah. Yeah.
But I like riding in a t-shirt.
It's okay. But when you're in the sun 10 or 12 hours a day for 8 days straight,
I have no problem here. They get very
no,
black, but
yeah.
no sunburns.
Ooh, really? Lucky
Yeah.
you.
I only get sunburns on my chest and on my back.
Gotcha.
That's
Well,
the
are
only
you
place.
planning on riding shirtless?
Not really. We might ride naked. That would be interesting.
Just some chaps on the legs. That's it. Butt cheeks flapping in the wind.
Yeah.
It'd be good. Hey, Tim, you took a nap and came back. All right. We're about to sign off. Just winding down, chewing the fat here. Any last minute questions for Alex? We still have 66 of us in here.
And Spanky said it right. Sunblock.
Sunblock, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sunblock doesn't help after 12 hours a day, though. Sleeves are much better. Fishing shirts are good. I don't know if you guys have like fishing attire and all that, but here you can go to the sporting goods stores and get the long sleeve shirts that are real thin. I'm sure they're, nylon or rayon or something like that, but they block like SPF 90, but they still breathe plenty of air. So that's good. Adrian did that on the way back from Cannonball in 21.
I'll see. Usually, I've never had problems with the sun on my arms, but I've been around different places in the world to know that sun is different.
It is different. Depending on the latitudes, it can hit you differently.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll have.
Soren has Alex's YouTube. Alex's YouTube channel, if you don't have it, Soren, is Ride with Alex. Up at the top of the screen here, if you see those donation links, where it says you can support at Ride with Alex, that is his YouTube handle. All right. Well, if there's no last minute questions, I think we'll shut it down. And I don't know, you want to meet up again in another week, maybe 2 weeks, something like that, and discuss last minute plans, changes, anything like that?
Next weekend, I will be on the road to London.
London. Already?
So yeah, on the 27th, on Tuesday, I have to drop him off in London.
That's the 27th. That's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
How long
I'm
are you
leaving
going to
on
take to
the
get there?
24th.
You're leaving on the 24th. Okay, so it's going to take you 3 days. Okay, all right.
So next weekend, I'm also off with the family.
Okay.
We can do something maybe Sunday evening, but
Okay.
maybe actually after I come back from London, 28, 29, maybe sometimes or actually it has to be in the weekend because it's evening for me, but it's midday for you.
It's midday here, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a weekend, so no working.
It's in the weekend, it's okay, but like on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, at this time you would be at work. I would be home.
True. Yeah.
But you wouldn't.
Yeah, it would have to be Saturday. Sunday is probably the easiest day to arrange both time zones.
We'll see for the 30th or 31st. 31st or 1st of June.
And then if all else fails or falls through, maybe we can catch you for a brief live stream either on your channel or here on my channel when you get to London to drop off the Scoot on your way before the international flight. So if there's time to, get a short check-in or something like that before you relinquish all your stuff.
On the 27th, I'm dropping him off in London at the company that's shipping him, and I'm flying back to Bucharest.
Okay.
It's just going to be a short flight. And then on the 9th, when I'm flying into Houston, my connection flight, I'm flying into Amsterdam because I'm flying with KLM.
Okay.
I'm flying into Amsterdam, but my connection is only an hour. So get off the plane, run to the next plane, get on the plane, and off to Houston.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So
it's a split ship. So you're shipping the Scoot ahead of your trip. So
I'm dropping it with them. Their warehouse is right next to Heathrow. They're going to be flying it out of Heathrow. And they're going to be flying it 1 or 2 days before I get to Houston. So I'm dropping him. They said they want between 7 and 10 days to prep the Scoot for security, put it on a pallet, get the weight.
Do you have to drain the fluids out of it and all that?
No, they said as low as fuel as possible. The fuel level should be as low as possible. So right after the airport, we're going to have to go get some fuel. Or on the PCX, you can bring your can of fuel full of
Yeah,
fuel?
that's fine. I'll bring fuel with me.
What do you run in the PCX? 87 or
I
91?
usually run mid grade, 89, whatever. So
Okay.
over there, that would be your equivalent of 91.
I did the calculations. Mine uses 95 here, which 95 would be a 90 for you.
90 or 91. Okay, so I'll just bring some super
So
unleaded with me.
89 or 91 should be fine. It's a low
Yeah,
compression air cooled engine.
exactly. Yeah. And so how our numbers work here is they're usually it's 5 to 6 numbers under what yours are
Yeah,
because we used RON plus MON divided by 2. So
yeah. I've done the calculation. My scooter says minimum of 95, but I think that's because you cannot get any lower than 95 in Europe.
sure. Which would be the
So
equivalent of our 90,
of your
91.
90 is the equivalent
Yeah,
of 95.
right.
I've looked it up on the lookup table.
Yeah.
So I think anything 89 or 91 or probably 87 is going to be fine. Compression is something like 10.5 to 1. So it's not a
Yeah,
high
you can run
compression motor.
mid-grade. Yeah, you can run mid-grade 89 here, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, 89 should be just fine.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody. Well, I think we'll wrap it up. We're at 3 minutes or 3 hours, 32 minutes, and we still have 62 of it here.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Last
Somehow
second.
people are not bored.
Yeah, they just probably tuned in listening to it in the background. They don't get to see us in our underwear. We're standing up in front of the camera doing dances, and they missed out on all that because they're just listening.
Oh, yeah. They're just listening.
Tim is saying, cool, don't have to drain the oil. Worked at FedEx, shipped all kinds of vehicles. They had to be dry, no oil, antifreeze, or fuel. That's what I was concerned about, Tim. I didn't know if they wanted him to drain everything or not.
They said I can. The only requirement is they're gonna disconnect the battery, or I can disconnect the battery when I drop it off, and I'm probably gonna do that because of all of my electronics.
Uh-huh.
And they asked if I'm comfortable with reconnecting it back in Houston, or else they could find somebody to help me reconnect them. I said I'm okay with
I would just take take them off the mounts or something like that, and they can disconnect your battery. But other than that, I don't think they would need to
No,
unhook
I
all
have
this
all
stuff.
of the connections like at the battery terminal.
Oh,
All
okay.
of the connections for
That's
my
easy.
secondary
Yeah.
wiring
You
system.
just screw them right in. Sure.
Yeah, I just take them out. And also they said as low fuel as possible. But other
Yeah.
than that, they said when you get to Houston, you pick up your scoot, you reconnect your battery, and you just ride off.
Cool.
They said nothing about putting oil in it or something like that. Plus, it
Yeah.
only has like 0.7 of a liter of oil.
Ooh, CCSC is prepping. Says it's raining like a mother in Maine. Yeah. Well, when I got to Maine in 21, Adrian and I got there just right on the heels of that hurricane in 21. I forgot the name of the hurricane. Oh, we got our asses kicked for 2 days waiting. Anywho, I'm about to float away. I've got 4 beers down me that need out. So I bid you all farewell. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks, Alex, for taking your evening with me over here.
Thanks for
And
having me.
let's coordinate again in the next week or so and see what we can do. I think all the plans are set. Your itinerary is set. It's just a matter of getting it there, getting it on the plane, and you getting here.
Yeah,
We'll do the rest.
we're almost there. It's
Almost
incredible. A year ago, looking back, it's incredible, but we're almost there. Just it's less than 30 days.
Less than
29
30
days
days.
left
That's
till
it. That's it.
till I actually land in Houston. 29
Exactly.
days.
And then you're going to be in the land of the free and the crazy.
Perfectly put.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you in a few days.
See you in a few days.
All right.
Okay. Bye, everyone.